Darnold. So if Darnold is going to become the player I think he could be, Indianapolis is a great place for him to do it.
Brady, weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio and watch exclusively on ESPN.
We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WINT 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
I don't understand how it's Thursday already, but regardless of what day it is, excited to be hanging out with everybody here on this beautiful afternoon. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, live here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM, coming at you live on Facebook. Of course, you can listen, stream, and now watch. Listen at 1410 Wing AM, stream us live at wingam.com, and now watch us live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search the Justin Kinner Show. You can also follow and like ESPN Dayton's Facebook page as well. Twitter at 1410 Kinner, KINNER, at one Kev Nash for Kev on Twitter and Instagram. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Same. See, it's easy.
I make it real easy for everybody out there.
At one Kev Nash. There you go. So there's that. So again, we're happy to be hanging out with you here today. As we get closer and closer to the Super Bowl, doesn't it feel like this is like what makes the NBA so great, Kev, is not so much the season itself; it's the off season. I as much as I enjoy the regular season in the NBA, which not many people say that. You and I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie. Sometimes the drama in the off season is just as entertaining, if not more to me, than the actual games on the court half the time.
Yep.
And the NFL is usually not like that. The NFL is usually cut and dry. In fact, the fact that we have spent more time this week, not just so much you and I, but pretty much all media out there, more talk and coverage has been given to teams not in the playoffs than the two teams who are about to play in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And it's not like these are two scrub teams. You have the Buccaneers with Tom Brady and their star power on both sides, on defense, offense, everywhere. There's plenty of stories like Patrick Mahomes, MVP first full year as a starter, Super Bowl MVP second year with the Super Bowl, with the Super Bowl trophy. There's no two bigger stars in football than Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady. That's the Super Bowl, but yet here we are. We're talking about teams who aren't even in the playoffs. We're talking about teams who didn't even make the playoffs. We're talking about the Houston freaking Texans of all teams right now. And, of course, they're relevant for one reason and one reason only. And they're about to go through an ugly divorce. Or are they? It was made official today. Of course, the rumors have been out there for weeks now. But apparently 2 weeks ago, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, that Deshaun Watson, who not even a year removed from signing the biggest contract or the second biggest contract in the history of the NFL for a quarterback, Deshaun Watson has now demanded that the Texans trade him. He wants out. He doesn't want to be with the team anymore. And now, there was a part of me that started to kind of die down on this a bit. I'm like, okay, it's a little heated. They'll figure it out. Cooler heads will prevail, but apparently not. And now today, apparently, not only has he asked to be traded, he has already told the team exactly the two destinations he wants to end up. It's either the Jets or the Dolphins. But here's the thing that Deshaun Watson needs to realize now, even though he does have a no trade clause, the Texans have more leverage than you think. They have more leverage than you think because at the end of the day, this isn't a situation where, I'll just hold out and not play. Yeah, you might have quite the lucrative deal, but we're talking about at one point, Kev, he could be potentially fined $1 million a day.
Yeah.
It could build up to that. $1 million a day. We may not ever even reach $1 million in our lifetime, and he's going to be fined $1 million a day. I don't know if the Texans would be petty enough to go that far, but if this gets ugly enough, I promise you, they're not just going to ship him out to ship him out. They're going to make sure that the deal that they get in return is perfect. And my concern about all of this is, what are the true motives for why he wants out?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I found this article when he signed his extension. He talked about how he doesn't ever want to play anywhere other than Houston. Houston is his home. That that he has his family there and this team is his family. He loves the ownership. He loves his teammates. His family loves Houston. He does not want to play anywhere else. That's the quote that that's right when he signed that extension, that he was completely happy there, that he felt confident in the direction of where the team was going. But yet I hear today on all the shows all day making excuses saying that Deshaun has every reason to want out, that they traded Hopkins away. Bill O'Brien ran the team into the ground. Well, when you want to talk about how Bill O'Brien ran the team into the ground from a financial standpoint, Deshaun Watson's part of the financial standpoint that put the team into the ground. Whether people like it or not, that's the reality of it because they weren't responsible with the money before Deshaun Watson. Maybe if things were handled better heading into the Deshaun Watson deal, it wouldn't have been as eye-opening. But what I think is that the team started to sense that he wanted out a year ago. And I think that's why they panicked. And I think that's why Bill O'Brien made him the second highest paid quarterback of all time. And I don't think that was what made the most sense for the organization. And of course, it led to other, behind the scenes backlash. But the bottom line is that right now, I have a hard time believing that Deshaun Watson, that a lot of this was pent up aggression. Because not even a year ago, you talked about how this is the best place in the world. You can't envision playing anywhere else. And now because is it as petty and simple as, hey, I'd like to help out with the coaching search. And they don't let you help with the coaching search. Are you that kind of person that it takes one little thing like that to make you check out and say, get me out of here? Because, Kev, I get it. The optics are, they traded Hopkins away. They're not winning football games. They're not. Well, then why'd you sign that extension? And if the answer is just money, then winning was never a part of your main goal here to begin with. I don't think that's all the case, but the optics do look strange, Kev, because when I read that article, it changed my mindset on this. Because I was pro Deshaun at first, but then after I'm looking at this, I'm like, how do you go from this is the best city in the world, this is my home, it's my family's home, this team is my family, my teammates, I love the ownership, he loves all of it, but now less than a year later, he wants out? That's the problem I have with this, that I don't think everything's adding up correctly, because this isn't about Hopkins, Kev. If it was about Hopkins, I don't think he signs that extension. I don't think he talks about how he loves this team and the front office and everybody, if that's the case. So that's where I'm at with this, where I'm a little iffy on. I don't like when players do this where they bully their way out of a team because they don't like how something is going. With less than a year ago, everything was hunky-dory. How is it today, all of a sudden, you don't let me help pick the coach, get me the hell out of here? If I'm all the other teams around the NFL that everyone is saying they should be bending over backwards to get them, I would be concerned about that. Hey, if we provide lunch one day for the team and it's green Jell-O snacks instead of red, are you going to want to demand a trade? I mean, this seems very it's a big deal. Yes, you want to be involved in the coaching search, but it shouldn't be a big deal to the point to where if you don't get your way, you're going to force your way out. What do you think?
I think he has every right in the world to vent his frustration the way he deems necessary. Everything that's going on with the Texans, like you talked about, with them mismanaging money and draft picks prior to even giving him a contract extension. I mean, I know like people are talking about like, well, maybe he didn't deserve that type of money. That's why we talked about yesterday. Like, so how do we determine how people get contract extensions? Do we determine it on the actual team goals or the individual's stats and how they perform? Obviously, they rated it off of how he performed, and that's why they gave him a big contract. And you damn right you smiling. You damn right he's happy when he signs that big contract, because now not only is he set up for life, but he set his family up for generations down the line. So you damn right he's happy. And I think you can have those emotions when you sign that contract, when you sign a contract that, at the time, I have no other reason to believe that he wasn't in a happy place with his team and going into that season. But I think things can deteriorate very quickly when you start losing, and start losing a lot. And then teammates get quote unquote taken away, and your coach at the time gets fired midway through the season. So I think there's something else that, like you said, there's something else, like some miscommunication between Deshaun and the ownership, or something wasn't told to Deshaun during that situation where they had to let Bill O'Brien go. Like, because we didn't hear anything until after Bill O'Brien was let go that Deshaun Watson was unhappy.
Yeah, but a lot of those problems were still pre-existing to begin with. So, again, if he hadn't just signed this contract, I would be 1,000,000% on his side. But it just seems that everything that could have been wrong, it clearly couldn't have been that wrong, because let's be honest, the money, he was going to get his money one way or another, whether it was with Houston or whether it was going to another team. So it's not as if, I know what you're talking about, like how happy he was to get the money, but it's not as if like, oh man, the only way I'm getting this money is if I stay here in Houston. He went all in with Houston, just like they went all in with him. He went all in with them as well. So that's where my holdup is. Again, he's going to be traded. A team's going to get one damn good quarterback, but I'm just less supportive of the way he's pushing his way out. And I guess the reason is because, as much as I said earlier, I love how the NBA is, the drama of it. I also don't like the NBA for the standpoint of the players running the teams, which I guess I'm torn on this, because I get it. Mm-hmm. The owners own a team. that provide the platform for that player to be a star, but the owners own a team that when they sell is going to be worth $1 billion because of the TV revenue, because the TV revenue goes all in on, with the networks to watch
chicken or egg.
I have, and to be honest, I don't care. I know everyone's going to say the athlete, but you could take all these athletes and go start a new basketball association, and I don't think it does as well. I think that the brand of the NBA mixed with the basketball players themselves is what makes the NBA whole. Football's the same way. But the difference is that the NBA, you have more options. There is only one National Football League. There is only one football league. Unless you want to, wait every 10 years for Vince McMahon to bring the XFL back. Like, I think that – so I just don't want to see, as much as I enjoy the NBA drama, the Kawhi and, LeBrons and all that stuff, forcing their way in and out of, cities – I guess from a selfish standpoint, I just don't want to see that in the NFL, but that's where this is going. We're seeing it with Aaron Rodgers, who could potentially push his way out, to a lesser degree. The Lions don't have a strong brand, and Stafford's not, although I think I like him more than you do, but I do believe, that's not as much news. He gave the Lions basically his entire career. Him choosing to leave now is not a big deal because he's given them everything. He deserves to have a chance to, force his way out to go.
And that was a mutual thing. That's a mutual thing. And
this isn't mutual. This is not a good situation.
No, this is tearing up the team apart, and to be perfectly honest, it's tearing the city apart. You think about what's going on in the city of Houston right now. You just lost James Harden to the Nets.
I didn't think about it.
And then now you're about to lose Deshaun Watson to whomever. It could be to the Jets, could be to the Dolphins. We don't know. But the real crux of it is tons and tons of athletes are upset and mad with their contract situation, with the situation with the team that they're in, but they have no power. They have no leverage, especially in the NFL. It is rare that an NFL player has leverage. Deshaun Watson has some level of leverage because he has a no trade clause. He can be mad all he wants without a no trade clause. They can ship him off to whomever they deem that they want to. But not now, because Deshaun Watson's agent is a genius. He worked in a no trade clause. So now Deshaun Watson can go in there and tell him it's the Jets or the Dolphins, make it happen. Yeah, they can find him all day, left and right, all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, if we want to get down to the real deal, how NFL teams view their players, they view them as assets. They're not going to let an asset like Deshaun Watson retire and go away and get nothing for him. So they're going to trade him to either the Jets or the Dolphins. And shouts out to Deshaun Watson's agent for working that no trade clause in there, because I don't believe too many other players in the NFL have a no trade clause.
Of all the sports out there, the most pettiest, the ownership, when you look at Major League Baseball owners, NBA team owners, NFL, the ownership groups of NFL teams, I believe, are the most petty of them all.
Yeah.
And I believe the rules, even with the no trade, like the NBA, you're at the mercy of the athlete. Mm-hmm. Baseball's the same way. Football, even with that no trade clause, Houston still has a lot of leverage here.
Yeah.
And the league is set up to where your players can get some leverage, but the team is always going to win. And so ESPN's Adam Schefter said, here's Houston's leverage if they want to play hardball. They can find Deshaun Watson $10,000, or they can find him $95,000 for missing minicamp. That's close to $1 million. Mm-hmm. Again, they signed it to $159 million. May not be much, but again, that's an entire $1 million that's going to be taken away from him if he doesn't report to minicamp. They can fine him $50,000 per day for each day of training camp missed, plus 1 week's salary, $620,000 for each preseason game. Now we're getting into the $3, $4, $5 million range, which again, when you make 159 over 4, it's not a big deal. But when you start shrinking it down to 40 million or 39 million per year, you're now down to 35. All right. If he retires, the Texans can collect $21.6 million. So why would he retire? Because the Texans can say, you know what? A.J. McCarron's our backup. Mm-hmm. We can make him our starter heading into next season. Oh, you're not going to win with him. Oh, we weren't winning with Deshaun Watson. So if they don't feel like the return is going to be good enough, they could play hardball too. And I was watching Adam Schefter earlier today saying that some of his reports from behind the scenes are that Houston has not totally bowed down to him yet. that they have not said they are officially going to move him, that they are willing to let time be on their side. The draft is still months away.
Right.
If you think that he's going to be a Jet by next week or he's going to be a Dolphin in 2 weeks, this may not be settled until before the draft. It may not even be settled at all. The Texans, and by the way, McNair, the owners, the family that owns it, they're used to not making the city of Houston happy. They're always in the spotlight for something. He's the same owner that also said you should not let the prisoners run the asylum, or how did he word it?
Inmates
Run the asylum. So the city has always, he has always had some kind of weird relationship with the city of Houston. So trust me, if you think that, I know, everyone thinks that he has leverage. I think the team has a lot of leverage in this situation.
Oh yeah, they have leverage because they're the ones that have the contract and they can find him all that money. But it's going to get done around the draft. Like you said, it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow. And draft picks are only good before they're used. Nobody wants somebody else drafting the guy that they want. They want to draft the guy that they personally put their fingerprints on to have their staff look at. It'll happen probably the day of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it'll get settled. And they can find them all they want. But a lot of these situations, I remember when Emmitt Smith held out after they won the Super Bowl. Emmitt Smith held out. He held out like the first 2 or 3 weeks of the regular season for the Dallas Cowboys, and they were like 0-2 or 0-3, whatever it was, and they were finding him and everything like that. They got that contract worked out, and one of the reporters asked Jerry Jones about the fine. Jerry Jones just laughed and said, "There ain't no fine. Let's go out here and win a Super Bowl," and that's exactly what he did. Granted, Deshaun Watson ain't coming back to the team like Emmitt Smith did, but like that type of thing happens. Like it gets worked out between the teams that you're being traded to and the league and everything like that. The league doesn't want that. The league doesn't want that. They want to keep everybody. They want to keep everything rolling. They don't want to splatter into like, oh man, if you dare hold out, the team's gonna find you and definitely make you pay. A lot of these fines are for show.
Well, maybe, but look at Le'Veon Bell a few years ago. Everyone swore it'll get done. It'll get done. He didn't play that entire year. He hasn't been the same player since, but he didn't play that entire year. He gambled on himself. He ended up making significantly less money. I mean, he would have made the lowball offer that the Steelers gave him that he thought was a lowball offer was still more than what he ultimately ended up making the following season with the Jets. But that's, whatever. We've talked about that in the past. But
he wasn't getting fined though.
Here's another way to look at this. Yeah, because he wasn't. Technically,
he had no contract. So
yeah. So with that being said, though, there's another angle to look at here. There is a lot of pressure on the McNair family for how they handle this, not from the fan base, all right, not from the media, but from every owner in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
They're all looking at McNair saying, "Don't cave. We'll give you some stupid trade if we have to. We'll hook you up with a quarterback for a year. We'll do what we have." The Lions, ownerships in the NFL will say, they'll look around. They don't want, if this happens, if Deshaun Watson successfully, signs a huge contract, because before it was, these teams, they treat the players like crap. They, look at everything Dallas is doing to Dak Prescott. They're doing everything they can not to pay him. Houston did the right thing. They paid him. And now he gets his money, but now because he doesn't get help with the coaching search, now he wants out. The ownership's going to say, you know what? Don't cave. Because the second Deshaun Watson, who is chirping now, successfully twist your arm to get him not only off your team, but to the team that he wants, now we're all screwed. Aaron Rodgers can get whatever he wants. Lamar Jackson can get. And again, some of you are saying, well, then what's wrong with that? But we're talking about a business here, and there's always going to be there's always going to be two sides to this. Mm-hmm. The problem is, at the end of the day, no matter how much we think that Deshaun has the leverage here, I think Houston has a little bit more. And I guarantee you, if a team looks across the pond and says, you know what, man, if we just said, hey, how about the Lions say, we'll give you our guy, you give us future draft picks, you go into the season with him, and Deshaun could just sit out. Deshaun loses. Every star player on the league loses because no one gave up leverage there other than Deshaun Watson, the player. I doubt that happens, but don't be surprised if those conversations behind the scenes aren't being made, because we see ownerships get mad at other ownership groups all the time. We talked about that with baseball. A lot of ownership groups in baseball get mad at other ownership groups because it's like, now that you gave that pitcher that much money, now that raises the bar for everybody else, and you make our job that much harder. Mm-hmm. Sometimes other teams' ownerships look at each other as a team. Yeah. Hey, that's what baseball gets ridiculed for, is that there's some kind of collusion.
Yeah.
But that's called good business sense. There's two sides. You want to unionize. You want to have people represent you. Well, if you're going to group together, if you, a player on the Cardinals, is being represented by someone that's also representing someone on the Dallas Cowboys, if you guys are all being represented as a whole group, then why can't we make decisions as a whole group over here? It's called collusion. It has a negative connotation to it, but it's the business side of this that makes sports ugly at times. But I don't think this is as simple as the Houston Texans waking up saying, all right, Deshaun, where do you want to go? We'll get on the phone right now. No, they're going to make sure they're going to play hardball with him.
Yeah, they're going to play hardball.
And they should.
And they should. I mean, they got to get something for him. They can't just go out there and get me and you for him. You know what I'm saying? They got to try to get the best deal that they can in a timely manner. But the thing about it is, about sports, owners get mad at owners because they always, well, not always, some owners always cave. That's why people are always mad at the Yankees, because they always end up overpaying for a guy, which forces the other teams to overpay for a guy. Just because these teams are all owned by billionaires and everything like that, one billionaire always wants it a little bit more. Like, we can never say, like, all right, man, like the Dallas Cowboys, they're not in it trying to win it. They're always trying to win it. The Yankees are always trying to win it. And they'll tell you stuff like, yeah, we're with you. And then they'll go to their GM and say, hey, man, you better do your thing to get Mookie Betts on this team. We need him. How much you want? $300 million? We got it. Let's go. Well, why'd y'all pay him that much? We would tell. Well, the deal came to us, and they'll have to smooth things out. You're right. The Texans do have the upper hand, and the teams will always have the upper hand because, for lack of a better word, the players in the NFL are employees of the teams, and the teams are going to have the power over the employees. But Deshaun Watson has something that rarely happens in the NFL. He does have some type of leverage. I don't remember any NFL player having this type of leverage ever.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. We'll open up the phone lines for to start taking calls on the other side. I'm interested in people's takes on this as well. 457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. So Lamar Shelley, he messages in. Keep in mind, we're live on Facebook. Head to Facebook, search The Justin Kinner Show. You can tune in and interact that way. Lamar Shelley, we pull him into the conversation, says, with all due respect, Justin, they hired the passing coordinator from the Ravens. Come on, man. I mean, I don't. At the end of the day, Bieniemy has just as much head coaching experience as this dude. So Eric Bieniemy is the name of the week. I get it. And once Eric Bieniemy gets hired and then he doesn't succeed and then he becomes Hugh Jackson and then we go move on and we find another coach that we're saying, hey, how come he's not getting a shot? Like, I get what you're saying. I'm not a fan of the hire either. But I don't know. Look, this was made up. I still don't think it's just only this reason. He wanted out before. This was just the tipping point as far as that goes. But regardless, they ain't winning next year. I mean, Deshaun, you have no leverage. You won 4 games. Everyone out there that says, if you're a bad team, you're Deshaun away from what? Winning 4 games? And talk about Deshaun's numbers. I think a lot of those are inflated. You lost a lot of games. You're behind in games. You're throwing the ball out.
Put them numbers when they were winning games.
Not like this, though. Everyone's like, oh, you got to get these numbers. Look, Deshaun, good player.
You check out on dudes like that, dude.
I'm not checking out, but this isn't like Patrick Mahomes pulling this. All for it. Deshaun, sorry. Nope, not buying in. David Shaw writes a book. He says that's the problem with coach speech. Watson told the paper what they wanted to hear, but not how he felt. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I don't think he's not a coach. He wasn't giving coach speak. He was happy to be in Houston. He does a lot of charity in Houston. He actually is one of the best. He's one of the biggest stars in football. That is constantly, him and Watt do a fantastic job in Houston of constantly giving back to the city. Now, if he would have said this before last year, he would have been a head case, horrible teammate and such. Now that he's talking, he shouldn't have signed the contract. Of course he signed the contract. What was he going to do? Turn it down? Come on, Justin. That's not – I didn't say he was going to turn the contract down, but all these players know, hey, I mean, think about all the players. You can go anywhere and get the money. Maybe not that, but he would have made what, maybe $2 million less a year? I mean, come on. I mean, no.
In the NBA, you can do that. But in the NFL, when somebody comes with that number on that check right then and there, you're going to sign because
once you sign, you open yourself up to be criticized then.
That's why you got a great agent. That's why you guys one that has factored in a no trade clause.
I mean, but you rip Cousins with the Vikings.
No.
the time?
I always give his agent props.
Oh, Shaw says thank you, Kev. So you're
No problem.
Yeah.
I always give Cousins agents props because he has fleeced the Washington football team. He has fleeced the Vikings. Get that money. I'm all about people getting their money. Cousins is a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's worthy of getting $30+ million because that's the going rate for a starting quarterback in the NFL. Do I think he's good? No. Do I think his agent is great? Yes.
Well, Deshaun, you fleeced the Texans as well. Was that really worth your 4 wins this past year? I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know. I think Deshaun's better than Cousins, but I don't think that he's worth this headache that everyone is like losing their minds over. But nonetheless, I mean, we're with the Jets. What was their final win? So 2-14. So let's say they get Deshaun Watson, you better win 6 games next year at least. He's good for 4. I'm just throwing that out there. All right. So
didn't they win 10 the year before that though?
Who?
The Texans. Didn't they win 10 before that? Okay, so like you can't just base it off of 1 year. 1 year doesn't
Patrick
make a
Mahomes
career.
wins. Patrick Mahomes. You get paid the same as Patrick. I'm going to hold you to Patrick Mahomes standards.
Well, that contract ain't kicked in yet, right?
Well, there you go. So the next year, he better win that damn MVP and Super Bowl. It's going to be hard to do, though, winning 6 games with the Jets. I'm just throwing that out.
We'll see.
All right, so it's interesting, though, like how many teams, like we have a lot of different fan bases that tune into the show, and I'm curious, like how much is too much? I know it's been talked about all day throughout the other shows, but how much is too much to give up for Deshaun Watson, and how many teams, although we have discussed this earlier in the week, how many teams should be interested in him? How many teams should not be interested in him? Your team, whoever your team is, Browns, Bengals, Ravens, whoever it is, Steelers, should they be interested in Deshaun Watson? We'll discuss when we come back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with flurries, a high near 28. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low around 16. And tomorrow will be mainly clear, a high near 31. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Does it feel like finding clothes in your fit is impossible? Tired of feeling overwhelmed with options that just aren't right? Let the experts at Stitch Fix do the shopping for you. At Stitch Fix, we make sure each piece is hand-selected for your life. So whether you're staying home or on the go, Stitch Fix has the answer for what to wear. We make it easy to find what works for you. Signing up takes just a few minutes, and styles are delivered directly to your door. Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, your style delivered.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent. Pro Extra dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at HomeDepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Find your style with Patriot Lighting from Menards. We carry a great selection of interior lighting products. Check out the Leaf Island line. Its stylish design will add a modern touch to any kitchen with its satin nickel frame and graphite accents. Just $149.99. The Brooklyn Island Light comes with vintage style bulbs and has an industrial feel. Right now it's only $189.99. Save on everything to update your home now at Menards. Price is good through Sunday, January 31st.
Save big money at Menards. Craft beer fan? Milano's features the best craft brews on tap every Thirsty Thursday. Choose from local favorites and other world-class selections for just $5 a pint all day on Thursday at Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps.
I'm Terry Krupp of Laird's Tax and Accounting, serving this area's tax and accounting needs for over 80 years. Tax season is here. We invite you to discover how we can make your tax filing experience easier. Our professional staff assures your return is accurate with maximum use of legitimate deductions. Since our founding, we have been trusted because of our knowledge of the tax code and for standing behind your return if the IRS calls. Contact us at 937-325-6571. Information at lairdstax.com.
The big building supply and home improvement auction is back at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. It's all online now, and bidding starts ending Thursday at noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products. Kitchen cabinets, vanities, wood flooring, vinyl, tile flooring, doors, windows, trim, insulation, lumber, fencing, and tools. A huge selection of unclaimed freight. Preview is Wednesday, and bidding starts to close Thursday at noon. So go to pbauctions.com and check out this huge building material and home improvement auction at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield.
Need legal help? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Have you heard about our new help center? It's located at the Montgomery County Courthouse, providing legal information and forms. And we also share programs and resources that may be available to you. Let us help you navigate the court system. Visit us online at courthouse2u.com for more info.
Listen to this radio station on the radio.com app. Discover and enjoy your favorite music, news, and talk radio from live stations across the country. Listen anywhere on all mobile and home devices with the radio.com app.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Assurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Sure thing. We can help you replace those wipers. If yours is squeaking or streaking, it's probably time. We've got a wide selection of wipers that can stand up to any weather, including the right ones for your make and model. We've even got more ways to get them fast, like our next day delivery or free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Justin Kittle, Kevin Nash back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So Steelers president Art Rooney was, I guess, met with the media today, and he was asked about the playoff loss to the Browns. And, of course, everything anyone Pittsburgh related says anything about the Browns, you know, people grab it and run with it. But I thought this was an interesting – this was a very Cleveland didn't do anything to us. We beat ourselves type of comment. When asked about the playoff loss to the Browns, Art Rooney says, well, when you turn the ball over 4 times in the first half, we didn't give ourselves a chance. I don't see how you can attribute that to coaching or preparation. We didn't come out flat or anything like that. We beat ourselves. So, yeah. And again, he's fending off the Mike Tomlin heat a little bit as far as that goes. But that
had nothing to do with Mike Tomlin.
Well, see, but in any other sport or in any other team, though, when you play sloppy, we attribute that to mental preparation. We do in any sport. But your team, I get it. You protect. I get it, Kev. I get it. Like this is the best quarterback of all time to me, so it's okay. I give homers a little leeway.
Whenever have I been homer on this show?
This is probably the most homer take I've ever heard you take.
Never. I'm never a homer guy. I just can't put that type of loss on Tomlin. How is your 11-year veteran center snapping the ball over your quarterback's head? How is that on the head coach? When that happens when Jack Miller was rolling the ball like a bowling ball back to Fields versus Michigan State, I didn't say that was on coaching. That's on you, dude. Just snap the ball. What are you talking about? You that's all you do. You snap the ball and you block. When Deontay Johnson was dropping the ball over the place, that has nothing to do with coaching. You have one job: catch the ball. Like, I don't think that is on coaching. I think the team was prepared to play. They came out with a different game plan, and they got down because Ben was sloppy with the ball, and the Browns capitalized on the passes that were right to him, and they caught him and took him down there, and the Browns capitalized by punching in the end zone. You give credit to the Browns for taking advantage of the opportunities that were given to them. Salute them. They won fair and square, but I can't put that on Coach Tomlin. That is directly on the players.
But you see where I'm coming from, where this really is about this particular game. But in any game, when the team comes out and they're making those mistakes and they're making those turnovers, we always say, coach didn't have them ready to play. But with this, you're not going to say it, we're not talking like, the Pouncey, high snap that led to the touchdown to start things off. We're talking, they just look for one that started earlier in the week with the smack talk. It wasn't like their mentality was, we're focusing on everything except the game on the field. To be honest, when you think about all the chatter heading into that, they're just the same old Browns. That's the way it looked as if they approached it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to take this game serious. We got the Chiefs next week. Actually, they wouldn't have had the Chiefs. Who would they have had? Because the Chiefs were the Chiefs at the lowest, so they would have the. But either way, they were looking ahead to next week. They treated that game that way, and to me, that is coaching because it's their job, and they'll tell you it's our job to have them mentally prepared for that game. So no, I'm not saying high snap. Damn, Mike Tomlin, what are you doing? But the high snap led it was just a snowball effect of them just looking like not mentally prepared being in the game. And I think that's on coaching. I can't even see you get your guard up because, I come at you. I ain't coming at you. I'm just saying, I do believe it's on coaching.
I put that all on the players, man. Like, look, man, Hall of Fame quarterback that was won 2 Super Bowls. You might want to throw it to the guys that have your color jersey on. Like, I'm not a person that goes out here and starts giving players a pass. Like, we talk about the Buckeyes and once a Buckeye, always a Buckeye type of stuff.
Unless you're like Martell.
Like, I'm more critical of players than I am of coaches because we talk about the secondary for Ohio State. You telling me that Kerry Combs that helped develop so many first round picks, DBU Ohio State, he forgot how to coach DBs? No, it's the player's fault. It's the player's fault. He ain't forgot how to coach. It's on you. Do what they're asking you to do. Stop belling and letting this dude juke you out of your socks, Sean Wade. That's not on the coach. That is on you. Like, I'm a person that believes in being self-accountable. Be self-accountable, Deontay Johnson. Stop dropping the ball. Hey, Andre Villanueva, stop holding on third down. Stop false starting. Hey, start snapping the ball directly to the quarterback instead of over his head. Hall of Fame quarterback, stop throwing it to the other team. That's on you. I can't throw the ball for you.
Why do coaches get fired then?
Well, they lose games.
Well, they don't lose games. They're not on the field. That's their point guard making turnovers. Their guards missing shots. Their quarterback's throwing interceptions. It's not on the coach.
Yeah, a litany of games. The Steelers ain't lost a litany of games.
Okay.
When have they lost a litany of games? Last year when they were 8-8.
Did I say they lost a litany of games?
I'm just asking. When have they lost a litany of games?
You need to calm down.
When have they lost a litany of games?
Kev getting all fired up. Getting always angry, always shouting. I'm always the calm one. It's not my fault your coach can't coach. I mean, I'm just throwing that out. Now, if you're just tuning in, Art Rooney, of course, the president of the Steelers, was asked about, I don't even know is he meeting with the media? I'm not sure. Regardless, he was asked about the playoff loss to the Browns, and the tweets I'm seeing that he got real defensive when people started questioning, Mike Tomlin's control of this team. And I hate the word control. This team's not out of control. They look old in certain spots. You don't have a run game. If anything, I'll look at the president and the owner of the Steelers and say, can you get him a run game? Can you get him improve some offensive line? But can you stop going with James Conner for 4 straight years since Le'Veon Bell and finishing in last place in the run game for 4 straight years? It's not as if they lost from we expected to have a good run game this year, and it just wasn't that. No. In fact, you had the same run game as last year, the year before that, the year before that.
Actually, they were better last year running the ball with Duck Hodges.
So, I'm just saying, so I'm with you. I'm not saying, it's not. Coaches get blamed for everything. When they win, it's the quarterback's fault. Or when they win, it's because of the quarterback, and when they lose, it's because of the quarterback. The coach and quarterback go hand in hand. Yeah. In basketball, the star and the coach go hand in hand, more so the star more than anything else. But in this situation here, it does seem like he's getting a little defensive. I don't see how you can attribute that to coaching or preparation. Well, preparation maybe, which goes with look, we don't need to rehash the argument.
I think it's a little late for him to be talking about this.
That's why I'm confused. People are tuning in is this the best of show? I mean, remember Shaw said it was quality programming, when we air best. To me, I think I'd rather air something that we've previously aired and done than just go back to ESPN programming. But Shaw says it's not quality programming, and we have to keep him happy. So, but no,
that game was 3 weeks ago.
It was 3 weeks ago, and Art Rooney's just coming out to talk about as if it's like a post game pressers.
Yeah, that seems weird. I would like to know why he's talking now. Shouldn't we just be getting down at the Senior Bowl, checking out guys, getting ready for the draft and stuff like that? Why are we talking? The game's over, dog. Matter of fact, we've lost. They've lost. The team that they lost to has won and about to play next week. We should shut up because we're not playing.
By the way, that Senior Bowl is a big deal right now. Saw Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon met with the media earlier today to give an update on his health as far as heading into the draft. He's going to be third rounder?
Yeah, third.
Did he run his way into a second rounder with how he played his last 3 games or what?
Man, it's so hard. It's so hard. This draft is so difficult to look at because, like we talked about the other day, so many guys that optioned out of the season and everything like that, and then they're popping their way back up now for the Senior Bowl. I have no idea what to make of this season, man. I really don't. I really don't know what to make of this NFL draft.
457-9464. That's the number to call in and join in on the conversation. And we're live on Facebook as well. Keep in mind. Sorry, I just got a question about. I think my ADD is in full force here today. So keep in mind that by the way, the Senior Bowl, real quick, I want to make sure I comment on that one more time. Mac Jones, I guess, is just getting rave reviews as far as that, as far as how he's looking so far. Again, the reason I think it's a big deal because there is no combine this year.
Right. So are they actually going to play the game? Are they playing the game or are they just doing the Senior Bowl practices? I don't have no clue.
I think aren't they? And they're doing live. They're doing this live, the workouts. Right. Are they actually doing the game?
I don't know.
We need to see if our city has a local show so we can find out. I have no idea. All right. 457. Oh, Shaw says he doesn't remember saying that. Shaw, well, you did. So just throw that out there. Yeah. Jason Campos on Facebook says, Browns fan here. Depends on the cap. Again, this is going back to the Deshaun Watson conversation. I would trade Baker to Houston with a few draft picks this year or next year's. Will it be smart for Cleveland to have Watson as their new franchise quarterback or re-sign Baker with unfortunate money? I don't know what he means, but with unfortunate money, I don't. But look, and that's what we're going to get into when we come back. We got sidetracked there. But, so we're going to take your calls because there's some coming in now. I promise we'll get to those. We've got social media reaction to your team, the Browns, the Bengals. Is how far – is it crazy? I heard Stephen A. Smith earlier today say every team in the AFC North, including the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, should be looking into acquiring Deshaun Watson. I thought that was an interesting take. We'll discuss when we come back.
Senior Bowl, Saturday at 12:30.
There you go.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
O'Reilly.
Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Heat Long Life Universal Pre-Mixed Antifreeze and Coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Plus, earn double O-Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot, 100 gigs of cloud storage, and more. All on the best network. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
You ever lie awake at night, can't sleep, not wanting to see what time it is because that's just going to keep you up? Tonight, try ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night. Unlike other sleep aids, our extended release melatonin helps you fall asleep naturally and then slowly releases so you stay asleep longer through the night. It's non-habit forming with no next day grogginess. ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night so you can fall asleep and stay asleep. Available at retailers near you.
Frank's Red Hot is the perfect blend of flavor and heat. That's why you can use an entire bottle to make buffalo chicken dip. The kind you might make for when you're watching the game at home. And maybe this year there's less people around to watch the game with. But that just means there's more dip. And it's all for you. Some of you may say, that's too much dip. But deep down in your heart of hearts, you know it isn't. So go ahead. Finish it. Frank's Red Hot don't judge. Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything.
The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to assist veterans during this COVID-19 pandemic. Even though we are not meeting face-to-face, we are here for you. We understand it is a difficult time with this virus threat and the strain of implementing social distancing. For those Montgomery County veterans who have lost their source of income due to their employers having to close or reduce their business hours due to the COVID-19 pandemic, you may be eligible for COVID-19 special financial relief assistance. Please contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday for more information or to have an application sent to you. You can also visit mcvsc.org. The Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission is here to help Montgomery County veterans during the COVID-19 crisis. Call 937-225-4801 Monday through Friday or visit them online at mcvsc.org.
OHMD 803-342, NMLS 304138. Do you need help with a loan to purchase or refinance your home? Have you applied for a home loan and been told you do not qualify for a loan? Are you a first-time buyer and have questions regarding the home buying process? Are you considering refinancing your existing home? Do you live in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, or South Carolina? If you answered yes to any of the above questions, you need to call Forrest Ferris at 3rd Street Financial Home Loans at 513-320-5911, who is available 7 days a week to help you. We're 3rd Street Financial Home Loans, and Forrest Ferris specializes in approving home loans banks and other lenders cannot or will not approve. Some of our clients might have low credit scores, been through a divorce, want to buy a home for sale by owner, are in a land contract, or dealing with probate or estate homes. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of homes located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, and South Carolina only. Minimum loan amount $60,000. Limitations and restrictions apply.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
Let Audible make 2021 a year filled with the best in audio entertainment. Audible originals, audiobooks, podcasts, and more. Start a free trial at audible.com.
Don't miss the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays at 3 p.m. on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
So you want to talk about outliers? Those guys are outliers. You're lucky that this thing's separating us. That's all I got to say. For facts, though. I got your facts right here.
Listen, stream, and now watch. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook to follow along. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back, everybody. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. To the phones we go, 457-9464. We got who we got? We got DoorDash Ray. DoorDash Ray, how are you, my friend? How are the streets today?
Oh, they're nice and dry. Very chilly out, but very dry. And
how's business? Because the DoorDash life has just not been as lucrative as what it once was.
I'm not even. My son's doing it now. I've got this awesome day job, and it just kind of like booted the DoorDash right out. I do it every now and then just for the heck of it. If there's an extra $1.50 to $4, but I'm not doing it anymore.
So you're out of the club then. So you're no longer DoorDash Ray. You're just Ray.
No, I will always be DoorDash Ray. So
you can't be DoorDash Ray if you're not doing DoorDash.
I am doing it, but not to the extent. Kind of like we all are. We're not doing it as much as we once were, but
Yeah, that many things. All right, hey, listen, you're a Raider fan. All right, you're a Raider fan. Should your team trade to get Deshaun Watson?
No, I was just reading that. That's actually what my take was on. I mean, they're talking about, okay, Derek Carr and 2 first-rounders for Deshaun. Come on, man. We're good. We don't need that. I just thought J.J. Watt wanted to be traded also. And, I hate this time of year because all these stupid stories and rumors, and us as fans, kind of like you were just talking about Baker a second ago. I mean, these are never going to happen. And even if they
we didn't think Deshaun would actually be traded. Now, technically, he hasn't been yet, but I mean, what's that?
He's asking to be traded, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so, but
I think your Raiders need him, man. I know you want to be, a loyal fan and all, but there's nothing wrong with saying that Carr is, you can use that right there.
Well, when Marcus Mariota came in that game, who were we playing? I think it was Miami. I forget who it was. He came in and lit it up. I mean, he took off running. He for sitting on the bench all year and coming in, after Carr got that, he pulled a groin or something. He came in and looked great. And I was like, wow, maybe we're onto something here because he'll actually run out of the pocket to get a first down.
So the combination of Marcus Mariota and Carr trumps Deshaun Watson.
I'm just iffy on Deshaun. I love him. He's a great athlete, but I think Gruden's offense just is not designed for his style. Now, not to say that I wouldn't love to have him, but I think you'd have to go to a whole new playbook for Deshaun. That's just me. Gruden's still got the old stay in the pocket and throw kind of mentality. Now, Derek will eventually run out, but there was so many times this year where it was wide open. He could have ran for a first down, and he just doesn't do it. Now, whether he's trained not to do it,
yeah. See, and Gruden's problem is he doesn't have any more Tony Dungy's players. That's the problem. I heard he was still scouring the league looking for some of Tony Dungy's former players. Like, that's where it's at. But DoorDash Ray, I hope things are well, man. I appreciate the call. You take care.
You guys, love you guys. See ya.
Adios. He's dipping on the DoorDash, man. You can't be DoorDash Ray if you don't DoorDash anywhere. You're just Ray, which is nothing wrong with just being Ray, but he can remain DoorDash Ray for a little bit more. Now, when he said he's making
weekends,
he said he's making his kid do it, but I hope his kid gets to keep the money. I mean, like the stock market or anything. You got to kind of share it.
Man, they got to bring back some good peak pays for me to get back out there in those streets. It's cold outside.
I'm getting married. I'm gonna be DoorDashing it up, man. Gotta get cupcakes and stuff, man. Like, not just cake. You gotta get the cupcakes to put around the cake so that nobody can eat it. Then you take it home and then throw it out. And you're like, why the hell did we spend all that money for? It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. Anything sports related on your mind, you can call in and jump in on the conversation. The Deshaun Watson thing. Look, with all due respect to DoorDash Ray, look, Carr isn't the worst quarterback in the NFL by any means. But if there's a team out there that can use Deshaun Watson, I think the Raiders are definitely one of those teams. And I don't care how Marcus Mariota looked coming in for a backup play here or there. Look, Mariota's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. I think they have good depth there as far as that goes. But no, I would not. If I'm the Raiders, I'm not comfortably sitting there with Carr. But there are some teams who your quarterback's not as good as Watson, but you got to think, okay, I don't think it's necessary to go, just put our team into debt to be able to acquire him. But 457-9464, we got Bam O'Brien. And Bam O'Brien on Facebook, he says, Mac Jones, that we need to put some respect on his name. Hey, He's the most out of shape quarterback in the league besides Big Ben.
Oh man,
he made me feel like when I saw they posted that shirtless picture of him celebrating in the locker room. I'm like, holy smokes, he should either be a lineman or I could play quarterback. I'm just saying.
Hey man, well I tell you what, it's good to see that he's getting some respect in the senior bowl, because the worst thing that I seen was that when he came in third place for the Heisman behind Trevor Lawrence, I was like, come on, man. He had the ability to probably even win that thing or be second place at least. But Trevor Lawrence and all the records and things that the man broke, when he broke Joe Burrow's record in the national championship game, and those receivers had a wooden leg with a kickstand. Mechie and Waddle and all those guys, he still threw for 464 on the Ohio State University.
See, that's right. It has been a while. You had to find an angle to call in to make sure you could praise the topic we were just talking about, but also take a little shade towards the Buckeyes. Buckeyes will be back. Don't worry.
No, but I was just thinking about that. And last, I could say this: I got respect for Deshaun Watson as a ball player, but at the end of the day, if the team was that bad, why did you sign the contract, bro?
That was my point to open the show. Was that it was like, you can't say that things have been bad for a while, but you're less than a year removed from signing a contract. I don't know if you heard, Brian, but there was an article that I had pulled up where he said that he loves Houston. It's his home. That the team, his teammates are his family. The ownership's his family. He loves everything about Houston, and now he's trying to convince everyone that it's just the worst place in the world to be. Not saying things can't change and change quickly, but I'm with you. You're not that far removed from signing that contract to try to convince me that everything is just as bad as what you're trying to say it is.
And this is the thing, and the NFL is such a brotherhood that you're ready to bail on that team to leave somebody else to deal with all that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, I wish that we had. I don't follow the NFL as much anymore, because I think that there's so many different integrity issues with so many different people in organizations. But if you're going to take the money, watch your tone. The owners don't have to get you involved in the decisions that they make as well. Now, they can do that as a consideration, which I think will be a decent thing to do since you're the marquee quarterback and all. But, man, I mean, I don't know how other players would feel in the locker room dealing with him, too, as well. But, like I said, man, I got nothing but respect for him as a ball player, but sometimes these guys overplay their hands too soon. Especially when you took the man's money, now you don't want to do the job.
I do want to share something with you since you're a Bama fan. One of your former running backs, Derrick Henry, was asked about Deshaun Watson requesting a trade. He said, "That's good for the Titans."
Yeah. Hey, but
that's hilarious. I think that brings a little levity to this whole situation, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, like, this is football, and the Texans' loss is the Tennessee Titans game.
Yeah, and that's even if the Texans actually traded, because you still got to work out a deal, and the guy's got a no trade clause that he has to agree to the team that he's being traded to.
Yeah, the two teams that he's ideally wanted to end up with, of course, the Jets and the Dolphins. The Dolphins make all the sense in the world, but your guy Tua is kind of being thrown out there too. So he might be a part of the trade that goes back to Houston. So who knows how that'll work?
Exactly. Well, I think at the end of the day, he actually probably wants to go to the Jets, because and we'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, it's all about roll tide, gentlemen. Number 18. All right.
Adios, man. Great hearing from you. Go Bucks. Go Bucks. Bama Brian. No, one of a kind. I tell you, I always appreciate what he calls in. Now, keep in mind, the one thing this is also good for is, Urban Meyer. That's quite the division to go take over a team. And I mean, look, the Titans are pretty good, but they're not like untouchable. I'm not saying the Jags will be better than the Titans next year, but all of a sudden Urban Meyer's little, learning curve is going to be shrunk pretty significantly. I think you can get better, and you can get better a lot quicker than you actually think. Back to the phones we go. 457-9464. Kev, who we got?
We got Mikey.
Mikey, how are you, sir?
Hello.
Hey, I got a call the other day.
Yes, sir.
It was Pete Carroll offering me money.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, I'm just giving you a hard time, Mike. You know that. I always appreciate when you come.
You wouldn't happen to be one of them damn boosters, would you?
Listen, I work in radio. We don't have enough money to be boosters, my friend.
You go.
Hey, Mikey, just so we're clear, everyone thinks that's a little too hard on you last time.
Oh, no.
But, that's what we do.
Yeah,
tell people I'm not as bad a guy as I come across.
How many times have I told you I'm not thin-skinned?
There you go.
I'm not an expert on these trade deals in the NFL or anything, but can a team, instead of trading a player, offer that team more money for him?
Cash considerations, too. I'm not sure how that works in the NFL.
I thought that was only an NBA thing.
I see that in the NBA all the time, cash considerations. I haven't seen that in the NFL where baseball, you could throw money their way as well, but I'm not sure about the NFL.
What about Keith? Keith Byers would know, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's not here right now, but I would definitely ask him.
Yeah. Two things about the Packers Buccaneers game.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you guys a couple of questions, maybe, and see what your opinion is of these. Why, when Aaron, the quarterback,
Aaron Rodgers.
When it was a wide open,
and you said a bad word, Mike. I'll just let you know. Luckily, we have the technology to be able to dump some of the words, but we usually hang up on people who are going to give you a pass, but you can't say those words. I'm just throwing it out there.
When Aaron Rodgers had a wide opening down there in the end zone, why didn't he run for the touchdown?
I'm so glad you brought that up because they keep showing the same highlights over and over when I'm watching on SportsCenter or whatever. And you're right. That's when he threw to his left side and into double coverage, basically. But he would have had to dive in, but he had an angle to get there. I'm not saying he would. There was no chance he could have got that touchdown. In fact, I'm 95% positive, Mikey, he would have got that touchdown had he dove in.
Johnny Bench could have ran in there for that touchdown, as slow as he was. Also, now in that same game, the first two quarters, the first half, there were no penalties called, correct?
Right. That, Kev? I don't.
There were some false starts, but there were no. I know where you're going to go, but there were no big time defensive penalties called.
Why then, towards the end of the game, did the official then throw a flag on a ticky-tack penalty when he just barely grabbed the guy's jersey?
That's the $1 million question. That's the question that we always want to know, because you start off calling the game one way on both sides. You allow the DBs to be grabby and physical and everything like that. And personally, that's the brand of football that I like. I like a good game that has some points, but also has some physicality and some defense. And in that situation, they called a penalty. But more and more I watch it, and to be totally fair and to be totally honest, he grabbed his T-shirt, and the T-shirt is white, and it's like you couldn't help but to call it. You would have to call that.
Well, the announcers even admitted that.
The other ones were close against the body. Like, he stretched his jersey. It was you almost put the ref in a situation where he had to call it.
Kevin, they did that the whole entire game, though, and it was never called. I mean, I saw pass interference calls, especially the Buccaneers, a little bit on the Packers, but especially on the Buccaneers. No penalties.
Yeah, the interception that Aaron Rodgers threw, there was pass interference on that play. Like, he grabbed him and spun him and intercepted the ball. It's tough, but ultimately that's a tough play to lose on. But
and it just happened to benefit Tom Brady, by the way.
Absolutely, always benefits Tom Brady. But ultimately, the Packers had an opportunity to win the game because they turned over Tom Brady 3 straight times and they didn't move the ball. Well, and, the Buccaneers defense stepped up and made them punt the ball, and then the coach decides to kick a 3.
I was just going to say that was got to be one of the. Whenever they have a thing about dumb plays in the NFL on ESPN, they got to put that in there.
So.
Well, listen, guys, before I go, as I know there's other callers, when the subject of boxing comes back up again, I got a hell of a DVD. I found that DVD, Burt Randolph Sugar's Top 10 Heavyweight Champions. I got to tell you guys about it. But whenever that boxing comes up, though.
Boxing will be coming in the near future, I promise you that much, especially with Mike Tyson coming back again.
Oh, wow.
So there you go.
There, I'm all pins and needles.
I'm sure you are. Hey, Mike, you good?
Have a good day.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Later. See, we could be nice. We could, Shaw's still throwing in insults.
What's up, Shaw?
He says he'll take the blame for that. It was crap. Whatever. Can't please them all. A wise man once told me, can't please them all. Can't please them all.
Shaw, who's your NFL team?
Any team that we're not praising at the exact moment, if I had to guess. Lamar Shelley throws out the J.J. Watt wants out too, so there could be a bigger issue here. J.J. Watt wanted out before, and to be clear, it's the same thing. Like, I'm just not a fan of players throwing their weight around, but that's just kind of a given in sports. But like, he's been there a long time. They've wasted a lot of careers there. He doesn't want to be another one. I think it's smart for him to get out there while he can. And besides, I think Houston was going to try to move on for like, even if Deshaun Watson and the Texans are, getting along and everything's fine, Watt was on his way out, in my opinion, anyways. I think that was the thing that, hey, they knew they were going to take on a lot of money when it came to signing Deshaun Watson. Watt, they're not a winning team right now. You might as well get younger, especially on the defensive end. I think don't be surprised to see him be a steal or whatever. Actually, they don't have the money to be able to take anything like that on, but it'll be interesting to see where he ends up.
I don't know. He's up there in age, has that elbow situation going on, seems like every year.
I'm Cleveland. I make it happen.
That's not bad. That's not a bad call. They need another rush in.
If you can give up, if the Browns offer OBJ, I'd do it.
Why would you give him a dude like OBJ for a dude that's only going to have 2 or 3 years left in his entire career?
The Browns only have a 2-3 year window.
But I'm just saying, you don't give up that asset for a dude that's only going to be there for a couple years. You give up that asset and OBJ for draft picks for somebody that you can build a future with, not for right now.
When you're always worried about the future, you never win right now, and they're in a win now mode.
And they can get Watt for a 5th, 6th round pick. Dude's 35 years old, dude.
They have 2-3 years to win. Their defense is bad.
You ain't got to give up a player for him.
Just because your team has flaws and they stick to having the same flaws year in and year out, like the run.
I'm just saying you don't. You're not about to give up a player that you can trade for a 3rd round pick, where you can trade for J.J. Watt, or even see if they cut J.J. Watt and get him for a cheap contract.
Maybe the Steelers should trade Mike Tomlin for Watt. Someone costing them games,
and then Texas will be a division winner for a change.
Yeah, right. Deshaun can't even get him to win more than 4 games in a year. I'm just saying, people act like Deshaun, when I laughed when what's his name, Dabo came out. Oh, he's Michael Jordan. He won 4 games
this year, huh? This year. You're forgetting about the multiple 10-win seasons he's had before.
But you were talking as if like the Jets. Oh, we get him, we're instantly better. Are you? I don't think you're better. No, you won 2 games last year. Yeah, we need to stop acting like Deshaun Watson had this team when it get. I've seen Russell Wilson get teams to more wins than what they're actually capable of. I'll take Russell Wilson over Deshaun any day.
I would take Russell Wilson, but you hate him too.
In the playoffs.
You hate him too.
Yeah.
The only quarterback.
They don't come up big in the playoffs.
You only like one quarterback.
I don't care if they have a Super Bowl. Bottom line is that was the defense.
You only like one quarterback.
You
like 2 quarterbacks. You like Patrick Mahomes and Baker. You don't like any other quarterback.
Hasn't been around long enough for me to put into any kind of category yet.
But you
made the playoffs for the first time and got a playoff win in his first playoff appearance. We got to see what he does moving forward. But if in 3 years, if they've been to the playoffs 3 straight years and he doesn't have another playoff win since then, I'll be critical.
You like 2 quarterbacks.
Who?
Baker and Mahomes.
I like Mahomes and Baker. I just like him because where he's at in the process, but I'm not talking. He's been around for 3 years.
So you only like Mahomes?
I only like Mahomes right now, yeah.
Okay. Now that you're on the record saying you only like Mahomes, we can end that argument. We finally have a definitive answer about how many quarterbacks you think are any good in the NFL. 1, Mahomes. So we don't even need to have a show anymore because everybody else sucks. Besides Patrick Mahomes.
They suck. I just say, hey, they're overrated.
So
there's a lot of overrated quarterbacks.
So 31 of the 32 quarterbacks in the NFL, starting quarterbacks in the NFL, are overrated.
No, because everyone has only been in the league a few years for some. Some have been in the long. I'm talking about the core guys who have been in the league for almost a decade now that we keep talking about. They're going to do it. They're 10 years into their career. They are who they are.
Lamar's only in year 4. Deshaun's in year 5?
Into year 4. 3 straight years in the playoffs, though, you are who you are at a certain point. And he came up. He threw for 120-some yards. He was horrible.
But the week before, you gave him props. He's still winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
So
he finally got the playoff win.
On a week-to-week basis in the NFL.
The thing is, you don't get to make excuses when you get to the playoffs.
I'm not making excuses. I'm asking questions. I'm trying to come up with a.
You don't like my answers. No. About high pitch. You get fired up.
We understand that it's Patrick Mahomes and everybody else sucks.
I say everybody else does. Tom Brady don't suck. Just saying.
I got an email from your buddy.
Oh, geez. I have a lot of buddies. We'll be back in a moment. 4-5. Oh, hold up.
Your best buddy.
Vincent Waller says, you defend Baker, but say guys like Wilson and Watson are good. Laughable. Vincent, pay attention. It's not that hard. I literally just got done saying that Baker hasn't played in the league long enough for me to have a definitive opinion. He's been in the league 3 years. Literally, they just made the playoffs this year, and he got a win in the playoffs. They had a chance to beat the Chiefs down the stretch. Let's let him breathe a little bit. I'm talking about the guys that are in the playoffs every year, and we're sitting here acting as if, they're going to lead you to the promised land when that's not the case. We don't know what Baker's going to be in the play. We know the first year gets a win. Lamar gets his first win 3 years in, and then after he gets his first playoff win, he literally threw for more points for the other team than he did his own. Just saying. It's not an opinion. It's a fact. We'll be back in a moment. Hour 2 next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Craft beer fan? Milano's features the best craft brews on tap every Thirsty Thursday. Choose from local favorites and other world-class selections for just $5 a pint all day on Thursday at Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps.
Call It Propane has been serving the Buckeye Nation in the Miami Valley for over 65 years.
Let our family help protect your family from old man winter. Find out why 98% of our customers would recommend us to friends and family. Ask about the service options at 937-372-9194.
Family owned and operated for 3 generations, Call It Propane and Call It Seal Coating are proud to serve the Buckeye Nation.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Okay, class, let's bump it up tonight.
Come on, Limu, keep pedaling. We got to build our endurance to let more people know that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
Pick up the Pittsburgh legs.
Hey, don't talk to Limu like that.
I'm not, I'm talking to you.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
The Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Square Sweepstakes is back. Every time the score changes, someone wins $50,000. Plus, 2 grand prize winners will win $500,000 they could use toward their dream home. See rules and enter for free at RocketMortgageSquares.com. Rocket Mortgage, official mortgage sponsor of Super Bowl 55.
No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 U.S. and D.C. of age majority. Ends February 4th. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 33. The NFL is not sponsored promotion in any way.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
Buckeye fans, every Monday night at 6 p.m., be sure to keep it locked in right here on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes for the Buckeye Roundtable Show. Paul Keels and the crew will bring you the biggest Buckeye headlines on the football field and on the hardwood. It's the Buckeye Roundtable Show, Monday nights at 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio. We are Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Into the end zone goes Chris Olave. KJ Hill, 6-yard touchdown catch. Right sideline and down he goes to the end zone.
WING 1410 Dayton's ESPN Radio. It's the Justin Kinner Show, live here on ESPN Dayton, 1410 Wing AM. Tweet the show at 1410 Kinner or give us a call at 457-9464. We now send you to the Wing Studios in Kettering. Here's your host, Justin Kinner.
So we talked a little bit ago about Art Rooney's comments about the Pittsburgh Steelers matching the Browns in the playoffs. A lot more came out of that press conference earlier today when asked about the future that they have to address when it comes to Big Ben Roethlisberger. You think back to that draft that Big Ben came in. We already saw one quarterback that came in that was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL during this past decade and a half stretch that he was in the league. And Phillip Rivers, he retires. He's no longer playing. Everyone has their eyes on Big Ben. You have all the old quarterbacks that have been playing for a while now. Tom Brady is the only one that looks as if age is not catching up with him. Big Ben, age caught up with him. You can just tell that he still has enough left in the tank because his tank's bigger than most, right? Like he's a pretty good-sized dude. But when it's all said and done, Big Ben is not the old Big Ben. He's at times looks like old Big Ben, and that's the problem. But I still think that even old Big Ben is still better than more than half the quarterbacks in the National Football League right now. If he wasn't, that's the thing, too. When you look at the numbers, we talk as if Big Ben was bad this past year, Kev. He wasn't what you were used to seeing.
Right.
But you look at the total yards that he threw for and the touchdowns and everything, that offense had flaws, but the offense was him, and that was it. They had no run game, no support, nothing. It was him, and that's it. He threw for 60-plus times in the playoff game against the Browns. I even came in. It was so bad. I remember coming in the next day saying, I actually kind of felt bad for Big Ben. I know he made a lot of mistakes, but my God, when you have him drop back 60-plus times, not a whole lot of great things are going to happen because you're dropping back 60-plus times for one of a couple reasons. You're dropping back 60-plus times when you're his age because you have no run game and because you're trailing. So you have no run game and you're trailing, and the only way you can come back is, well, even with a bad run game, we still can't just turn around and hand it off. The only way they had a chance to beat the Browns was to continue to drop back. And to act like he was garbage in that game, he made too many mistakes, yes. But to act as if he was complete garbage, Browns fans, you can't even say he was garbage, because if he was garbage, me and you and everyone else would not have been biting our fingernails off for the majority of that game because he made it interesting. Mm-hmm. He was it. That's it. It was Big Ben, and that was it. And that's that's where I'm at when it comes to Big Ben. We have too many people talking about him as if he brings nothing to the table, and that is not the case. Art Rooney, when asked about the potential tough decisions that they have to make when it comes to Ben Roethlisberger and his future, Big Ben wants to return to the Steelers for the 21 season. Team president Art Rooney said on Thursday, but to do that, the team and its veteran quarterback must make some difficult decisions. Right now, with the salary cap decreasing because of the drop in the revenue due to COVID-19, Roethlisberger's $41 million cap hit for the 2021 season, you just can't do it. You're not going to be able to operate, experiencing that. So he wants to come back. He says, we've left that door open, but I think we've been upfront with Ben and letting him know that we couldn't have him back under the current contract. I think he understands that we have some work to do here. We'll have more conversations internally, and we'll have to have conversations with Ben, and we'll have to know what the cap number is to finalize some of those decisions. So to sum up, Ben, we want you to come back, but the only way you can come back is if you accept less money.
Yeah. I think
fair foul.
I think it's fair. It's a salary cap sport. We talked about this yesterday. We talked about all the weapons and everything that Tom Brady has to play with and how he played last year with New England Patriots versus this year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You look at the Mike Evans, you look at the Godwins, you look at the offensive line, you look at Jones, you look at Fournette, you look at all these guys, you look at Cameron Brate, you look at all these guys he has to play with. Yes, you can say, all right, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have a pretty solid 3 wide receiver core, but what else? Because they don't have a running game, and the offensive line has been garbage for over 3 years now. So when you have an older quarterback, you have to put things around him to compensate that. He's not about to be making these throws in between 4 guys anymore. He has to use his brain instead of his arm power because his arm power isn't there. And mind you, he's coming off of, elbow surgery. So you have to do these things to help him out. And if he's willing to take less money so they can put more pieces around him so he can use his brain and use his intelligence to win games as opposed to his big arm and everything like that, that would be great for all parties involved. Do I think Ben will do it? I think ultimately he will, because I view him as a guy that doesn't want to go to another team. It's going to be either he's going to retire and that's it, or he's going to accept taking less money. I really don't see him playing for another team. And furthermore, I really don't see another team saying like, oh yeah, we should get Ben.
So you're saying that he should take less money because there's restrictions within his game, so that he needs to take less money because to make up for those restrictions, the Steelers will need money to go elsewhere. Weren't you the same one that says Lamar and others should not take less money because it's up to the GMs and the smart analytical people to find the talent? So he should not ask for less money, according to Kev Nash. It's up to the great front office of the Steelers to find. But
100%
but you just said that he should take less money.
Because that's how they're going to keep the talent that's on their team.
But why would you say that about the Ravens and others?
I said that about him too.
Who has just as much restriction. I think he has more restrictions. He can't throw. I'll take Big Ben's arm over Lamar any day. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. Just lobbing it up there and knocking it out of the park. But no, will he? I mean, it's kind of you got to ask. And look, we see this in the NBA all the time. This is from can you handle being a backup?
Right.
You don't see it as much in the NFL with that. This is that scenario here for Big Ben. It's not about being a backup because he's still good enough to be a starter. Right. But at his age and with what he brings to the table, it doesn't match the salary that he's making that the team would have to make, that sacrifice. But my thing is this. If Big Ben, if the Steelers had a run game, we're not talking about Big Ben looking old. Like Big Ben didn't, he looked old, but he did. I think we're painting.
He wore down.
But why did he wear it down, though?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why he looked, he wore it down. And it's kind of how we were talking about.
I'm defending the Steelers, and it's making me nauseous, folks. But, I really am. I mean, I was joking about the Lamar thing. That was just between him and I. But in all seriousness, Tom Brady, he's throwing just as much as Big Ben. Not as much, but Tom Brady and Big Ben, two of the three quarterbacks who had the most passing attempts in the league. And all I'm saying is that Tom Brady at least has a run game to refer to, to defer to. He has other weapons. Big Ben, we thought he had good, he has good young receivers, but as the season went on and the moments got bigger, Chase Claypool took a step back. Who's a rookie? Juju Smith-Schuster was getting rocked by Von Bell and TikToking and talking smack about the Browns. So that's where it gets interesting. Should he take less money? Here's the deal. I'm one of those that says, I don't think quarterback, when it comes to teams giving you money up front, this is why you don't give quarterbacks the big contract for this reason right here. If I'm Big Ben, I say no. I'm all for players telling teams, no, I'm not going to restructure my contract. Mm-hmm. I am all for teams telling quarterbacks and players, you want that much money in free agency? I'm not going to do that because of these risks on the backside. You gave him the money. He signed the contract. Now you're telling him you need him to take less. That's your job to figure it out. Right. It is not. And so I'm the opposite when it comes to free agents like Dak Prescott with the Cowboys. He wants Russell Wilson number. He wants 35, 36. Cowboys want to give him 32, 33. I think 32, 33 is what you should get. They shouldn't give him more because why? If they give him more and he has restrictions, then they have to come to him and ask him to take money later, and then they look like the bad guy then too. I think you got to stay within who you are. The Steelers' only hope of winning next year is if Big Ben does restructure it. But if he doesn't, I don't think he should be the bad guy in this situation.
No, he shouldn't be the bad guy. This is the contract that the Steelers agreed to, and that big 40, what is it? Almost it's $42 million. That happens because of all the restructuring that they did before. So eventually you have to pay the piper. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And now it's time to pay the piper. And now you left in a situation where it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for everybody. It's uncomfortable for the fans. It's uncomfortable for the organization. It's uncomfortable for Ben because he's thinking, hey, man, I gave you guys everything. I could have retired last year after my arm blew up and just said, forget it. But no, I worked my butt off.
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, I worked my butt off to come back, and I gave y'all everything I had. Dropped back 60-something plus times. I'm going to need my $41 million, man. And they're going to say, hey, man, we want to win. We love you. But, hey, man, we want to re-sign Bud Dupree. You love Juju Smith-Schuster in the slot. We got to give him his money, and we ain't got no more money to give. Oh, yeah, we still got to sign draft picks. And, oh, yeah, TJ Watt's coming up. Oh, yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick's coming out. The great defense that we have, we got to re-sign those guys. Oh, you want offensive line? We got to go pay offensive linemen. Guys, that's what the Steelers organization is going to tell Ben. And then you have us, the fans, just thinking, look, man, I don't care what it is. Get it done. Get it done. Get him re-signed. Fix the offensive line. Find a running back. Re-sign Juju. Juju, shut up. We want it all as a fan base. And ultimately, we all know that's not going to happen. We're not going to, as a fan base, we know you're not going to get it all. There's going to be somebody's going to have to take the L, quote unquote. And ultimately, it's probably going to be Big Ben that's going to take the L because, much like you said with the Texans, Like the organizations always hold the power, but I think in this case it's different because Big Ben has been there so long. You look crazy as an organization cutting him. Like I remember when the San Francisco 49ers cut Joe Montana and watched Joe Montana take the Kansas City Chiefs to the AFC Championship game. Like it looked crazy. You saw Joe Montana out there with number 19 on. It looks weird. It looks weird to see Tom Brady in a Tampa Bay Bucks jersey, but it looks normal to see him in the Super Bowl, though. I tell you that. It looked weird when Brett Favre was with the Jets. It looked weird when he was with the Vikings. These things always end like this. When you have an iconic quarterback like Big Ben, who's on the back end of his career, that's old big money, it always ends weird. Like it was weird watching Kobe Bryant hobble through a season because they gave him that big contract at the end. They paid him for everything that he did. Or that, man, you carried the franchise after the Shaq years and we rebuilt it and we won championships. We're going to give you another big contract. Oh, we can't sign any free agents because we gave Kobe Bryant all this money.
That's Parker.
Yeah. That's what happens in a salary cap league, man. Tough decisions got to be made. And ultimately, that's why they paid Kevin Colbert the big money. Hey, man, juggle these numbers. Make it happen because the fan base expects nothing less.
All right, Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. More of the Justin Kinner Show on the other side of this break. We'll continue with this conversation with reaction from social media. Getting a lot of people chiming in on Facebook about what they would love to see teams give up for Watson or what teams should get Watson. Forget if it's your team or not. Where would you love to see Watson go? The Jets, no. I don't want to see the Jets. I don't like when bad franchises get bailed out. And that the Jets would get bailed out, just like the Bengals got bailed out with Joe Burrow. I don't think bad organizations should get bailed out with guys like that. I'd rather the Dolphins did it the right way. The Dolphins tanked, and they won so much while tanking that they didn't get the top pick that they wanted, which ultimately they ended up getting the guy that they technically were tanking for. The tank for Tua thing started technically with the Dolphins. But that team plays so damn hard for Flores that that's an organization that deserves an upgrade at a key position to take them to that next level. I would love to see the Dolphins get him. But no, the Jets, no. Learn how to run a franchise, learn how to win games, learn how to be competitive in your division. You don't get to be bailed out. The Bengals were lucky they got bailed out. The Jets don't deserve to be bailed out, period. I hate when bad teams get bailed out.
Who else is on your list that you would want to see them go to?
That's a great tease. That's a great question. Milano's just waiting for me in the parking lot, so I'm going to go pick that up, and then we'll be back, and we'll get into all of that. By the way, Vincent Waller says the Steelers should draft Najee Harris. I'd love to see Najee Harris in Pittsburgh. Well, maybe not me, the Browns fan, but Najee Harris. I saw in Vincent another team that makes sense for Najee Harris. I saw that the Bills, Mel Kiper's mock draft had the Bills taking Najee Harris in the first round. Bills and Steelers both could definitely use them. That's for sure.
We need help.
We'll be back in a moment. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with flurries, a high near 28. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low around 16. And tomorrow will be mainly clear, a high near 31. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Come into Skyline today and kick it up a notch with andouille sausage conies made locally by Queen City Sausage at participating Skyline locations for a limited time. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
Are you ready for tax season? Belmont Business Consultants and Tax Services is ready for you. If you want to come in person, it's a safe environment, or you can just drop off. Belmont Tax also provides a completely virtual, secure client portal. For business or personal, if you want the accurate deductions you deserve, contact Belmont Tax in Dayton and Eaton. Go to BelmontBCTXS.com. BelmontBCTXS.com.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
What's in store this week at Staples?
Printing you new signs for the times.
Get back to business with custom printed signs and sales materials. Staples has hundreds of designs to choose from, or just upload your own.
And now at Staples, get 25% off custom flyers, brochures, postcards, or labels when you spend $70 or more.
Some items printed same day when ordered before 2 p.m.
Save big on custom printing at Staples. Ends 2/27. Exclusions apply. Limit one offer per customer. See store associate or visit staples.com/custom prints for details.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your car insurance with Right Track, which rewards you for safe driving.
As the world's most careful driver, that's perfect. Now applying 2 pounds of force for acceleration. You really turning in 0.3 miles and begin a deceleration.
With Liberty Mutual's Right Track, you could earn up to 30% savings based on how you drive. Sign up at libertymutual.com/righttrack.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Discount on participating vehicles. Base coverages only. Availability varies.
If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Get quality candidates delivered from Indeed's resume database immediately when you upgrade your job post. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit.
Dayton Flyers basketball fans, don't miss Talking Out Loud with Sully every Thursday night at 6 p.m. Game recaps, game previews, visits from former Flyer greats, and more. It's a show by the fans, for the fans. Talking Out Loud with Sully, Thursday nights at 6 p.m. Wear red and be loud. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
All right, everybody, we are back. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Found this a little bit interesting. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski says that shooting guard Dakota Mathias, who had some good moments in his time with the 76ers. Remember, the Sixers were like their whole starting lineup was out with COVID, and they literally had to bring G League guys up. Well, Dakota Mathias, who played at Elida High School, he's from up north in Lima. Okay. I played against his brother in high school, actually. But Mathias' family, they're a basketball family. Let's just put it that way. But he had some good moments with the 76ers. He's going to join Isaiah Thomas and the shorter Isaiah Thomas, not as old Isaiah Thomas. But no, so Dakota Mathias is going to join Isaiah Thomas and Joe Johnson on Team USA for the AmeriCup qualifying tournament in February in San Juan, sources tell ESPN. Nice. I just thought that was interesting, just him being a semi-local kid. I mean, just a couple hours north or whatever. But yeah, I watched him when he was in high school. Knew he was good. I didn't realize, played at Purdue. Really good shooter at Purdue. But 20 years ago, he doesn't make the NBA. But they could thrive in today's game. Again, he's not on a main roster right now. I'm just saying, but he's gotten opportunities in the NBA that he probably wouldn't have got 15, 20 years ago. Can shoot lights out. I do see, by the way, Clippers playing real well. Yeah. A lot of people have checked out on Luke Kennard. Found that interesting. It's not that he's playing bad, but he doesn't fit their system. But I did find that he got paid too. Big money. Luke Kennard got paid. Big money. He's so good. That's no matter what they say about Luke. And it's weird hearing. I don't care what anyone says. Like, we work in this business, whatever. But nothing is a stranger to me than guys that you watch here locally, and then they're being talked about on the national stage like that. So hearing Stephen A. Smith just go in on Luke Kennard, I just thought, man, that's kind of mean, because we talk about these people all the time that we don't know. So it is what it is. But when you hear people talk about people, you get a little defensive. Like, oh, Luke ain't that bad. Stephen A., shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking to. Stephen A. knows what he's talking about. So it kind of bothers me when he's talking about Luke. I'm pulling for Luke, man. And I'm pulling for Dakota Mathias.
Yeah, the thing about Luke Kennard, especially playing with the Clippers, is nothing really matters what the Clippers do the regular season. It all comes down to what happens in the playoff. No matter how good Paul George is playing currently, no matter how good they're playing as a team right now, it really doesn't even matter. It's all about the playoffs, and they're one of those teams that's in that situation. And we talk about this on the show, like how the regular season doesn't matter. It only matters for up and coming teams. Like, the regular season matters to the Cavs. Mm-hmm. Like, the Cavs are playing pretty good basketball. Like, we're surprised that Colin Sexton is playing so well, and they're competing in a lot of these games. They competed very well against the Lakers and everything. LeBron had a lights out game, but it's a small victory that they competed with the Lakers. But teams like the Clippers, who fell short, it don't matter. It don't matter what you do. Don't matter how many buzzer beaters you hit during the regular season. Don't matter if you sweep a team in the first and second round of the playoffs. It only matters if you are super competitive in the Western Conference Finals, and that's where they find themselves now.
Yeah, and see, Luke Kennard was brought over for his shooting ability, especially from behind the three-point line, because we don't need more ball handlers. Right. We have Paul George, we have Kawhi Leonard, we have guys that can take, Lou Williams, who hasn't been getting as much playing time as what, I heard them talk about that the other day, but Luke Kennard, and is this stat line bad? We talked about this at the beginning of the season with Obi Toppin. I remember you had asked, we were given our projections for what Obi Toppin's stat line would look like. I projected Obi would average around 8 to 9 points a game, 4 to 5 rebounds, and an assist or two. And people looked at me, they're like, "You're just a hater." That's a horrible stat line. I'm like, that's who Obi Toppin is in the NBA. He can't take anyone off the dribble. He can't, he's not taking anyone off the dribble. I'm not saying he's not capable of it. He could do it from 1 or 2 times. But if you think that anyone's going to draw it up for him to take over a game, that's not his game, at least not right now. I'm not saying he can't turn into that, but for right now, that's who he is. I'm looking at Luke Kennard right now, averaging 8 points a game. Mm-hmm. Good or bad. I mean, I think that's not terrible. When they made it sound like he's just been flat out horrible. You kind of need those 8 to 9 points from a Luke Kennard. I don't know. What do you think? I don't watch a lot of Clipper basketball. So
I watched a couple Clippers games, and when he comes in the game, he looks like the mark. You play basketball. When you're the mark, it looks like that's who they go after. Like, whoever he's guarding, go at him. Kind of like how
Sean Wade, in football.
You're the mark. Like, we need a bucket, you're gonna get it. So he's unplayable on defense at all. Like, at all. Like, he's just Olay straight to the cup. and he's not knocking down the jumper like he was supposed to. And they paid him not big money, but they paid him good money.
He's averaging a 3 a game. That's not going to cut it. Like, he was paid 50-something mil or whatever it was, but like
23 minutes a game.
You need to be knocking down more. That's a lot of time for you only knocking down a 3 a game.
And they playing better with Nicholas Batum on the court. It's just weird. And like I say all like this, and it's so not cool to say, but I just don't know what to make of this NBA season, because especially for the rookies, and he's not a rookie, but like the rookies, like I'm not even sure how many rookies are starting in the NBA. In the NBA, normally every team like probably has like a rookie in the rotation. You have some even starting, but like the big time guys, I think Wiseman's starting. Anthony Edwards isn't even starting. LaMelo isn't starting. I think the rookies are at a huge disadvantage this year from not having summer league, not having like that ramp up into the season. It was just kind of like, hey, your season ended in March. Sit around and practice on your own, and then boom, you drop into an NBA game. And I think these rookies are like, I'm almost like, don't know what to make of this season. Like, this is season 0.0 for them. This isn't rookie year. This is only like half the rookie year for the rookies out there, man. So I just really, I'm still at a loss for what to make of this season, because like we saw the 76ers beat the Lakers yesterday, and people got open arms about them losing. And I'm like, it's the regular season, but it's a big game for the 76ers, not a big game for the Lakers, because the Lakers are the defending champs, but the 76ers want to get to the finals. So it's a big game for them. Like, I just don't know what to make of this season.
The regular season's more for the teams like the Sixers and others who have something to prove. Lakers games right now, when teams do get
10-1 on the road,
when teams do get a win on the Lakers, I'm not buying into they're better than the Lakers. I'm just looking at it as, if you think that the Lakers are approaching all 82 games, are they doing 72?
72.
So if you think the Lakers are approaching all 72 games as must wins,
right?
That's not the case. It's not an excuse. It's just the reality of it. Like, it's instinctually in us as humans when it's tough to force yourself to get up for something that isn't always there. But for 72 games, the Lakers aren't approaching every one of those as must wins, but the Lakers are playing in 72 must win games against their opponent. That's just what happens when you're the defending NBA champs. But, I'm looking around the league, Anthony Edwards in 25 minutes a game, averaging about 13 points, 13 points a game. He's getting it done. His player efficiency, one of the highest he has the highest, he's the second highest rookie efficiency rating. I know you're not big on those. I'm just going off of, what's in front of me. And Obi Toppin, when you look at him, averaging about 4 games. It's not good. I don't think it's good. I don't care. People can get mad at me all they want. But again, like you said, and I addressed this when the season started. We talked about it. We did our draft night show here and everything when we said, hey, this is the most unfortunate season for a rookie ever, because you were drafted and 4 weeks later is tip-off. I mean, we're not talking about drafted and 4 months later with an NBA G League, with the full training camp, with the full practice. It's just, boom, hit the ground running. And I don't think Obi got the full preseason preparation for this coming up. But that's why whenever you and I were discussing when the season started, what's a realistic expectation for what his stat line can be, you would have thought I made a Jesus joke in church. I mean, people lost their minds when I said that, hey, Obi Toppin, I believe, is going to average about 8-9 points a game. Everyone was furious. Everyone got mad at me. And I said, what are you getting mad at me for? He's going to average 17, 18 a game. Now, you said about, and I'm not ripping you, but
I said about 12.
About 12 double digits and all that stuff. But, I'm like, I just didn't see it. I don't see it. There's never a time in Obi's rookie season that I see them drawing up a play where, hey, take him in isolation. That's the only way. And you talked about, slashing to the bucket, that's going to be his game. Problem is, he doesn't have a lot of playmakers around him. Obi Toppin has a very dependent style of play, at least right now. He can develop into an all-star, I'm sure. I mean, anything's possible. But he doesn't have that look right now. I'm sorry, he doesn't. Now, the injury didn't help either. So not only did he miss a lot of time in preseason because there was a truncated preseason, Kev, he also misses key games. I think, how many games in? We're like into almost 20 games in now. He's played 9 of them. So he's averaging 5 a game. So 5 points a game, about 3 rebounds a game, and just under an assist a game.
It's 2 factors here that I surely didn't think of. I didn't think Julius Randle was going to be out here trying to play basketball.
Yep.
I truly thought Julius Randle was going to be out here on some I'm just here to get my check and get me up out of here. Julius Randle is averaging 22 points and 11 rebounds.
And he got more money with the Knicks than he was going to get elsewhere. So that's why sometimes you don't buy into guys who go to the Knicks because they're like, well, they're going to pay me more.
Right.
I'd rather go here, make my money, and then I'll sign a contract with a contender after the Knicks after I get my money.
Right. So that's one thing for sure I didn't see happen. I didn't see Julius Randle saying like, yeah, I'm here to be a player in this league on this terrible team. And another thing I didn't see coming, which I should have, they're actually playing good basketball. Now, yes, they're below 500, all that good stuff, but they're actually competing. Last year's New York Knicks team did not compete. They were a walkover. They're not a walkover anymore. So, RJ Barrett's playing a lot better basketball. Obviously, Coach Thibodeau got them playing some litany of defense and everything like that. And so the players that he will be coming in the game for, because he's coming off the bench, will be Julius Randle. Julius Randle's playing about 37 minutes a game. Like, that's the guy whose minutes that OB, quote unquote, should be getting. But Julius Randle is a veteran in this league and ain't coming off that spot.
Yeah, get 36 minutes a game. Randle last year getting about 30 minutes a game, so that's 6 more minutes, but he's more efficient.
Yeah.
And I don't know about that. I mean, the problem is too. I mean, they had T.J. Gibson. Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson. I was like, Taj Gibson. He's not on the team anymore. They actually released him. They brought him back during Obi's injury, and then I don't think he's with the team anymore. Right. Look, I think Obi will be fine. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good NBA player. I'm just saying I never bought into he's going to take the NBA by storm. I just think we get watch every time the Knicks, he'll have a dunk in a game, and everyone goes, oh, man, did you see Obi's dunk? Did you see Obi's dunk? And I'm like, oh, he had a big game. I'll go check, and he had 4 points, and 2 of them at the free throw line and that one dunk, which is, again, that is fine. But I feel like I come at things with a more realistic expectation of what it's going to look like versus the fandom of, oh, man, my guy from my team's about to take the league by storm. It's hard to do that in the NBA. It's hard to do it as a rookie. And, Anthony Edwards, I thought had the best chance of taking the league by storm of all the rookies. 13 a game isn't bad. That's very good for a rookie. James Wiseman, though, is he the best rookie? I don't know, but he has the best situation.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He has benefited the most from playing, and he's getting better. He's benefited the most from playing with Draymond Green and Steph Curry and those guys. So, and real quick about the Knicks, the other reason that team's playing better, we saw this with the Celtics. And Kyrie kind of came in and messed that up a bit. When you are a young roster, you're always going to – this is why the Cavs are playing well right now. This is why the Knicks are playing well right now, because there's no superstar. Who's the superstar on the Cavs, Kev? There isn't one.
Right.
Who's the superstar on the Knicks team right now? There isn't one. They have – you could look at who their best player is. If the Cavaliers, it's Colin Sexton, or if it's the Knicks, it's Julius Randle, but you don't have a superstar. So these are two of the best teams.
Yeah.
They play team basketball. That's why the Cavs are getting wins that they shouldn't, and then you'll see them lose games they shouldn't, because they're just good quality teams. The Knicks are playing good team basketball, but that's why they're buying into Coach Tibbs right now. That's why you see the Cavs responding the way they are. But when they get that superstar, when they get to that status, then all of a sudden it changes a little bit. They don't receive the coaching the same way. So that's why you're seeing this Knicks team. That's why I think it's a good spot for Obi, because you're on a college-like team where everyone's playing hard, everyone's trying to get better. It's where sometimes you go to an NBA team that has Kyrie's on it, and it's, I'll dictate our practice schedule. Mm-hmm. I'll work hard when I want to work hard. The earth is flat. No, I'm just joking. But, you see my point where I think it's a good learning environment. That's why I think Obi's going to be good, big picture.
And I think the oldest guy on the team is Austin Rivers,
who just had 25 in the first half the other night and then scored 0 in the second half. Nerlens Noel might be the oldest.
They might be the same age.
So they come in the same draft, but Noel's not. I guess
they're both probably like 25. That's the crazy part. I mean, you're right. And it's also like what you said about the Cavs, the Knicks, like these games actually matter to them, because you can't get better by losing and not competing. And that's something that you got to give a lot of credit to the Knicks and the Cavs. Like, the coaching staff has these young teams playing hard, and they haven't fell off the cliff yet. A sleeper team in the NBA right now, I don't know if we talked about it last week, I can't really remember, but Utah Jazz is playing some real good basketball. Rudy Gobert just dropped like a 20 and
the COVID
game. Yeah. Patient zero.
He got paid in the offseason, though.
Patient zero out here playing some good basketball.
Blame him for why the Flyers didn't get March Madness last year. Man. Technically, he wasn't the first to test positive. I thought it was Mitchell.
No, it was him.
It was him? Because then he was
Rudy.
Touching the mics and all.
And then
so bad.
Then everything got stopped, and then Donovan Mitchell was the second player to test positive, and
we all have that one friend though that's a smart ass about everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And he was being a smart, and it just backfired. I mean, it backfired to the oh man, that would. I mean, it's safe to say it's funny now. I mean, it's not, but. It's funny only because the irony of it too. It's just the one guy that tried to be a smartass about it, it just came back and bit him in the behind.
Trying to make a joke about it,
and his team is the one that had the breakout that led to everything shutting down in the first place. All right, we're live on Facebook. Search the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook and jump in on the conversation. People are trying to get back into the NFL conversation, and we'll gladly go there. And Travis Hatmaker says, "Go West, young Watson, Niners, baby." He's all about the Niners, which. That would be an interesting team, too. Now, a lot of their top offensive-minded coaches left. Who do they go with, by the way?
To the Jets.
To the Jets with Salah.
Salah, yeah.
I told Byers wrong the other day. He said Sully or Sully. And I was like, yeah, that sounds right. It's Salah. So, actually, one of the young offensive-minded is the brother of the Packers coach, too.
Yeah, but the play caller and the guy is Shanahan, the young
Shanahan.
Shanahan.
Yep.
Like, he's the guy that draws it up, and he's the guy that hired all the other guys. So, I mean, that's how coaching trees work. Like, all right, I'm the play caller. You're the quarterback coach. You're loaning under me. Then when my guy he'll make you the offensive coordinator, and you take what I learned and you do it over there. So they're going to try to be the East Coast 49ers. I would love for Deshaun to go to the 49ers. I think that's an awesome landing spot. I don't think they'll do it. Also, with the Rams, that would be a pretty good look. But ultimately, I do believe it's going to come down between the Jets and the Dolphins, because I think the Dolphins ultimately have the best package to give to the Texans. Like, they have 2 first-rounders this year. Like, I mean, they could kill it. They could literally say, hey, here's the 2 first-round picks this year for Deshaun. They'll sign on the dotted line today.
Yeah, who do they have going? Because they have the 3rd and the 18. And I can't remember. Well, here I have Kuiper's draft in front of me. I'm trying to think of who he had them taking at 18 that we both were like, oh man, that's a good pick too. So they, he has right now he has the Dolphins taking Jamar Chase. Mel Kiper does with that 3rd overall pick. But then again, they think they pick up again at number 18. The linebacker of Notre Dame. So defense. That's right. Owusu Kamara.
Yeah. Like, you think about that if you're the Texans. Like, if the Dolphins really want to play ball and want to get this over with and done, you give them those 2 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. You talk about how they don't have any draft picks. You got 2 first-rounders. You rebuilt your team just like that real fast. So
that's why I said good. Trade them to a competitive. I mean, again, the Texans don't care about trading them to a competitive team. I just don't want to see a Jets team get bailed out. You drafted Sam Darnold and you ruined it. All right. The Bills drafted Josh Allen. They figured it out. The Browns, one of the biggest jokes of an organization of all time, they draft Baker Mayfield, who might be one of the less talented of all the quarterbacks in that group. And the Browns found a way to build a playoff team around him and get a playoff victory over the Steelers and had a chance to beat the Chiefs late that game. So I don't want to see bad organizations get bailed out. You draft your guy, you go around.
For hitting the reset button on the coaching staff.
Who?
The Jets.
No, because again, how many coaching staffs? I mean, they made a mistake for drafting or for signing what's his name to begin with. I mean, they should have known it was a mistake. Yeah, Big Eyes. Who is that, by the way? The Bama was looking to make him part of their staff too. Yeah. So no, I'm tired of teams getting bailed out. I said that about the Bengals a little bit ago.
Gase,
of course,
not Gase.
Gase, yeah. Adam Gase, duh. So Josh Nichols says, "Wow, Browns win 1 playoff game, and Justin is judge and jury for teams tanking." Because I said, look, I'm tired of teams, bad teams getting rewarded. Just so you guys know, even though the Browns got Baker Mayfield because of tanking, I was very critical of the Browns then too. I thought it was a joke. I got ticked off because that's why I said stop blaming Hugh Jackson for the Browns' struggles when you have a 2nd-round pick and Deshaun Kaiser, a rookie, as your starting quarterback. I mean, that team was not built to win games. I hate when teams tank. I think it's horrible. It's horrible, and I don't think that teams who tank should be rewarded with the top players. And I don't think that the Jets, who have made mistake after mistake after mistake, they were so bad the one year that's how they got Sam Darnold to begin with. You didn't do anything with them. Then you go and you sign Adam Gase to be your head coach when everyone was saying that's a horrible thing. Didn't do anything. They had to fire him already, and they moved on to the next one. Although I think they did well with their signing of their head coach on this one. Still, I don't think they deserve Deshaun Watson. The Dolphins definitely do. The Dolphins did it the right way.
They tanked. Remember, they traded Minka to the Steelers. They traded. I'm drawing a blank. They traded.
That good, huh? See, good.
They traded Tunsil. They dropped all their good guys, so technically they tanked too.
They got rid of all their first salary dump.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they were the worst tanking team ever because they kept winning games. They were winning their way out of getting. They should have been the ones ending up with Joe Burrow. They should have been in the position. They should have been in the position to either tank for Tua or to blow for Burrow. Whatever the hell the little saying was that they were.
So you should be mad at Flores for coaching them up.
I'm not mad at Flores.
No, I'm just
Flores,
saying, like, Flores was like, yeah, maybe the organization is tanking, but we're not.
But in all seriousness, I've said this about every sport. Tanking, I absolutely hate it. I hate it with the passion. Sports is the only hub where you are rewarded for being bad at your job. Bengals, you are an embarrassment to the National Football League. Congratulations, you get Joe Burrow. The Jets, you're an embarrassment to the National Football League. Congratulations, you get Sam Darnold. Oh, you screw it up. Oh, you get Adam Gase. Oh, you get fired. Now you get Deshaun Watson. No, I think it's a joke. The Jaguars, they did what the Dolphins did and the Bengals did before that. They get rid of all their good players. You're tanking. Actually, the Bengals are more embarrassing than the tanking teams because the Bengals weren't tanking, Kev. Let's be clear. The Bengals didn't tank. They just sucked. There's a difference. The Dolphins unloaded all of their pieces, as you talked about, with Tunsil and Fitzpatrick. They got rid of all those guys. They got rid of those guys to tank. The Bengals kept their roster as is, trying to convince their fan base that they have a good roster, and then they were worse than the teams that were actually tanking. And they got rewarded with Joe Burrow. Are you kidding? Teams should not be rewarded for tanking, period. So, yes, Josh, I do believe I am the judge and jury. And the Browns win one playoff game as if that's nothing right now, considering the team's been a joke for decades and decades, considering your team that you go after me, your team gets 5 straight playoffs, doesn't even win one, and don't even get – see, I was fine. I was on a roll today, and I'll let Josh do it. Josh, congratulations. Yeah, he goes, he said that earlier. He goes, I tuned in at the perfect time. He said Marvin Lewis was middle of the pack in his entire career. Tanking gets you the players you need to have Super Bowl aspirations. I don't care. That is not a winning mindset. It's not a winning mindset, period. I mean, I know what you're saying, Josh, and I know some people are saying, that's the only way you can do it. But keep in mind, I've said this before, how I would fix the draft. The number 1 overall pick should always go to the team that just made the playoffs. In fact, let's take a look. When we come back, we'll dive into that little theory. Based on this season, who would have the number 1 overall pick based on my recommendation for how the NFL and all sports should reward their teams with the draft picks coming in from college? Stop giving it to the crap at the bottom of the league like the Bengals and the Jets and everybody else. Reward the teams in the middle who are actually trying to compete. The teams who competed and barely missed out on the playoffs. Imagine the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders having the number 1 overall pick and getting Trevor Lawrence with the talent that they already have and John Gruden. Imagine them having that. That'd be huge. Instead, you got to wait for Trevor Lawrence to go to a 1-win Jacksonville team and wait for 3 years for Urban Meyer to figure it out. I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. I said on the other side of the break and I got ahead of myself. We will be back in a moment.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Paid for by Asset Marketing Services, LLC. 2021 marks the 35th anniversary of the American Eagle Coin Program, and these historic gold coins will never be the same again. Why?
The U.S. Mint has unveiled a new design for the 2021 American Gold Eagle coins.
This means now is your last chance to get an American Gold Eagle coin with the original Eagle design.
The American Eagle Coin Series has become the best-selling coin series in the world.
Act fast or miss your opportunity to own the last year of this historic Gold Eagle coin design.
Just call govmint.com and 1-800-859-1629, and you're guaranteed a shiny, new, perfect mint condition American Gold Eagle coin.
Get them now before time runs out.
Call 1-800-859-1629 now, and you'll receive your very own 2021 Gold Eagle Guide, free just for calling.
This exclusive offer is only available by phone. Call 1-800-859-1629 now to secure your American Gold Eagle coins before this historic design ceases production. That's 1-800-859-1629.
Craft beer fan? Milano's features the best craft brews on tap every Thirsty Thursday. Choose from local favorites and other world-class selections for just $5 a pint all day on Thursday at Milano's Pizza Subs and Taps.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers for home daily dedicated lanes. A $2,000 sign-on bonus, medical, dental, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody or apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
You ever lie awake at night, can't sleep, not wanting to see what time it is because that's just going to keep you up? Tonight, try ZzzQuil Cure Z's all night. Unlike other sleep aids, our extended release melatonin helps you fall asleep naturally and then slowly releases so you stay asleep longer through the night. It's non-habit forming with no next day grogginess. ZzzQuil Pure Z's all night, so you can fall asleep and stay asleep. Available at retailers near you.
Frank's Red Hot is the perfect blend of flavor and heat. That's why you can use an entire bottle to make buffalo chicken dip, the kind you might make for when you're watching the game at home. And maybe this year there's less people around to watch the game with. Yay! But that just means there's more dip, and it's all for you. Some of you may say, that's too much dip. But deep down in your heart of hearts, you know it isn't. So go ahead, finish it. Frank's Red Hot don't judge. Frank's Red Hot, I put that on everything.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
The Big Building Supply and Home Improvement Auction is back at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. It's all online now, and bidding starts ending Thursday at noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products. Kitchen cabinets, vanities, wood flooring, vinyl, tile flooring, doors, windows, trim, insulation, lumber, fencing, and tools. A huge selection of unclaimed freight. Preview is Wednesday, and bidding starts to close Thursday at noon. So go to pbauctions.com and check out this huge building material and home improvement auction at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
1410 ESPN Radio is Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes on the hardwood. Football may be over, but basketball is just heating up. Support Chris Holman and his Buckeyes as they battle it out in the toughest conference in all of college basketball, the Big Ten. Every dribble, every shot, every Buckeyes win. Catch it all right here on ESPN 1410 Wing AM. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
All right, everybody. Justin Kinner, Kevin Nash, back with you here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So we've talked about this in the past, and now that the NFL season is technically wrapped up, at least in regards to, we're down to our final two, the Super Bowl, but it doesn't really pertain to these two teams. I've said before, I hate the tanking system. I think it's ridiculous. I think that teams tank because, well, it's just that positive reinforcement. when you are rewarded for certain behaviors, you're going to repeat those certain behaviors, right? Like it's become like a psychology class all of a sudden. When you are positively rewarded for certain behaviors, you're going to continue those behaviors. And when teams are continually being rewarded for losing, they are going to continue to lose, knowing that they will be rewarded with the top picks in the draft. And it's lazy. I think GMs are lazy. I think owners become lazy because it's easy to lose. It's easy to not pay guys. It's easy just to have bad rosters. Sure, you're uncomfortable for 3 months of the year while your fans tell you how much they hate you. And then, like dummies, we all go into the offseason thinking next year's our year. How many years did the Browns fans do that? Next year's our year. It took 20-something years for it finally to be your year to get back to the playoffs and win a game and everything. It's a long time. I'm tired of that. We have to stop rewarding teams for losing, and the teams continue to purposely lose because they feel like it's their only way to get out of their little losing debt, right? So my biggest suggestion is said stop with the positive reinforcement, stop rewarding the damn teams for losing, and start rewarding the teams who are trying to win. For instance, I mean, don't you think when you look at the teams that just missed the playoffs this year, let's take a look in the AFC. The Colts were the last team in the division to make the playoff. Let's now use, instead of going to the bottom, the Jacksonville Jaguars 1-15, the Jets 2-14. You look in the NFC, 4-win Falcons, 4-win Eagles, 5-win Detroit. Those are the teams now that we look at and say, oh man, the Falcons, Eagles, Detroit. Look at the Jaguars and Jets. Man, those teams suck, and they're the ones being rewarded. You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the teams like the Raiders who competed all year and finished 8-8. I feel bad for the teams like the Dolphins. How about winning 10 games and you're rewarded with not making the playoffs, and you get a crap draft pick because you won so many games, so you have to pick further in the draft. Now, for them, they're fortunate because they
willing and dealing.
But you see my point. I think that's absolutely wrong. How about the Patriots, who should have tanked, but they don't have it in them to go all in. I mean, they technically tried, I think, with the way that they handled, like they traded their first rounder last year, and a bunch of guys opt out. You had Cam Newton, who I think they were semi-interested in seeing if there was enough left in the tank. Obviously, there's not, at least that's based on how it looked. The Patriots go 7-9. That's not a good football team, but they competed. They tried to win games. And now they are penalized for winning 7 games. So they're going to get a draft pick in the middle, I think, at number 15, which isn't terrible. But it's the point that why are you rewarding teams like the Jaguars? Bad teams like when the Bengals had the number 1 overall pick, you rewarded a 2-win Bengals team. They got Joe Burrow. So when you try that positive reinforcement, when Joe Burrow doesn't work out or if he decides to sign somewhere else and the Bengals are back to not having anybody, the positive reinforcement, they're going to go right back to, oh, yeah, how did we get Joe Burrow? Is it because we played well? Oh, no, we played bad. Let's suck again so that we can get a top. Stop rewarding losing. Reward the teams in the middle of the pack. Imagine if the Dolphins had the number 1 overall pick. All right. Imagine if they had the number 1 overall pick because they would have the. So my suggestion is the draft order should be go to the teams with the best records that just missed the playoffs. So to me, the Dolphins would have the number 1 overall pick at 10-6. The Vegas Raiders would have, the second pick at 8-8. The Patriots would be there at 7-9. The Cowboys would be 4th at 6-10. That's how. So now the teams that made the playoffs, they're already good. They're playoff teams. They have enough weapons to compete on a year-in, year-out basis. The teams that just missed the playoffs, they have enough to be interesting, but obviously they didn't make the playoffs because they have too many flaws. Give them those high draft picks. Let them address their flaws. Now you have your 6 playoff teams in each division, and now the middle of the pack teams that just came up short, now you strengthen those teams, and now instead of having 6 talented teams, now you have 8 to 9. Now you have good teams missing the playoffs, but guess what? Then you'll get a top draft pick next year, and you keep getting better and better. And now the teams who are at the bottom, the 1-2 win teams, Kev, guess what? Their only option, either spend money in free agency, which they can get better doing that, which is still good for the league because there's a way to still get better, or try to win games, which in essence, to win games, you got to spend money in free agency. By winning games, either making the playoffs great or just missing it to get top draft picks. Kev, I'm telling you, the league would be so much better. Stop rewarding the bottom of the league for losing. Stop it. It is absolutely horrible. It goes against everything that we preach in sports about the importance of winning, competing, and playing hard. But yet all we do is every year in April, we go crazy and we talk about these crap teams who do nothing but lose, and they get rewarded with the Joe Burrows of the world. it's pathetic. It's embarrassing, and sports should be ashamed. The NFL needs to change it. They won't because they don't know who the hell Justin Kidder is because he's some no-name radio boob in Dayton, Ohio. But I'm telling you, the league would be so much better if the teams who competed all year, who just missed the playoffs, get rewarded for competing. Why did the Jaguars get rewarded while a team like the Dolphins and Raiders, who competed all year, get nothing? I have a huge problem with that.
The first time tanking was coined was in the 1983-1984 season when the Houston Rockets, who considered losing most of their games by losing 28 of 23 games, 23 of 28 games, decided to bench all their starters, failing to meet the playoff requirement, making them get the number one pick in the league. So basically they're saying tanking started in the mid-'80s. The tanking has been going on since then. I think it's more of a problem in the NBA than it is in the NFL because the NFL, there's so few games. People still watch it because of that fantasy football element. In basketball, a lot of regular season games are unwatchable as is because the talent gap is so drastic. And then you decide to say, hey, man, we're about to put these G League guys in the NBA and just basically tank the rest of the season. I can't argue with you. I do think it will be something that should be looked at in all sports, especially in the NFL. I think it would be a little more entertaining that way. But it can't be a one-off. If they're going to make a rule change or a systematic change to the NFL draft, they're going to have to do it for an extended period of time. They can't be like, all right, man, we're going to do it this for the 2021 season. They have to do it for like 10 years and then reassess things. Yeah. So I think everything should always be on the table when you're trying to reassess the league and keep interest in the league. But right now, the NFL's interest is at an all-time high. So I think they're at the mindset of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I mean, absolutely. And now, again, the NFL, of all the sports out there that really doesn't need any tinkering, it's that. But it doesn't mean that there's still a lot of bad football being played, even with all the great football being played. Michael Green on Facebook, he says, how do bad teams get better in your system? I hope those aren't disrespectful parentheses or quotation marks to Michael Green. I hope you weren't. I hope you're not disrespecting the Kinner system. Okay. So Michael Green says, how do bad teams get better in your system? And if you're just tuning in, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. I'm tired of tanking. We were taking a look at the final standings for the season. Yes, I know there's still a game left to be played, but those teams really aren't going to be involved in my system to begin with. I'm tired of rewarding the worst teams in the league with the top draft picks. I don't think a 2-win Bengals team deserved to get a Joe Burrow, but yet they did, and they're going to be better for it. But here's the other deal of how it makes the NFL better, Kevin. 457-9464. Joe Burrow sure goes to the Bengals, and he's going to make them better. But we have to wait 2 or 3 years for the Bengals to get it right. To where, imagine if a middle-of-the-pack Dolphins team had a Joe Burrow with all the weapons. You don't have to wait 2 to 3 years to develop Joe Burrow. You're just good. You're instantly good. You're instantly better. I think that's a good thing for the NFL across the board. So when Michael Green says, how do bad teams get better in your system? You got to force them to spend money. A lot of teams just sit on money and say, oh, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. Well, you know what you would do then? You would put the pressure on those organizations to spend money in free agency. You would have no choice but to go get better. You would have no choice but to go bring players into play. And if you as an owner and an organization can't figure that out, then you don't deserve to own a team. I mean, I get that there's always going to be obstacles that people are going to throw at my system or suggestion. But honestly, I'm a very arrogant person. I get that. But I think that was the best suggestion ever. Like, it's a win-win for everybody. I mean, I don't think that Kinner's suggestion of forcing teams to do everything in their power to win, I don't think that should be a hot take. To me, if you told someone, if you go find a person who's not a fan of sports and try to explain to them how teams get these players out of college, they're going to look at you and say, wait a minute. The teams who suck get rewarded and the teams who are good don't get rewarded. Exactly. That's basically what this comes down to. Keith Tolliver says it's a lottery like the NBA. Even then, Keith, I still think you get a lot of the same. I still think you get the same principles in the NBA because you have a lot of guys who are still tanking just to get into the lottery. Mm-hmm. I mean, every year, as opposed to where in the NBA, Kev, imagine if you reward the teams that just make the playoffs in the NBA or just miss it. Imagine if they get the cracks at the Zion Williams of the world. Imagine if they get the Anthony Edwards of the world or have a chance to, like I said, I still think a lot of NBA careers are ruined because you go to these teams they're looking at their top rookie draft pick to carry them. Obi Toppin that's why James Wiseman, by the way, James Wiseman is flourishing with the Golden State Warriors because James Wiseman, the number 1 overall pick, most teams with your number 1 overall pick, you're looking at them saying, do something for us, carry us. He doesn't have to do that. you would see a lot more of the James Wiseman to Warriors situations in my suggestion than you would, sending these really good college players to go to the worst situations in the NBA. 457-9464, NBA, NFL, what have you. Let's go to the phones. We got Jay. Jay, thanks for holding.
Okay, Justin.
It's a 3-hour show. You just wasted 10 seconds breathing. What do you got for us?
I'm just trying to catch my breath over some of the minutia.
I don't think it's minutia at all. I want teams to win.
I understand that, but literally in the NBA, one player can turn a team around. In the NFL, one team can help turn a team around. Now, in the NFL, if you bury the team who is 0-16 in the middle of the draft, you may bury that franchise forever. Only because you said they need to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
But what free agent's going to go to an 0-16 team when they don't have anything there that's started? Now with Burrows at Cincinnati, and God, I hate to say this, with him going to be a good quarterback, they can now attract free agents. Now they can spend money if they'll spend it. That's what happened with Baker up in Cleveland. He showed a little bit of brilliance, a little bit of shine, and they started getting better and better free agents. That's where the offensive line came from. But if you bury a team at 0-16 in the middle, give them no shot, they may stay there for eternity.
That's fair. I don't think you see as much.
Get a top end free agent.
You bring up good points, and I'll give you that, Jay. But I don't think you see as much brand snobbing in the NFL as you do the NBA. I think free agents go where teams want them. Right. So, I definitely see what you're saying. My system would not work as well in the NBA. I agree with you on that because there's only select franchises that really lure in free agents. So it really wouldn't work with you. But the NFL, I really do believe that it would work because I don't think that is there a team in the NFL that you think players just they don't want anything to do with? Because I guarantee you, if the Jaguars get Trevor Lawrence, and to your point, Jay, they get Trevor Lawrence and they have Urban Meyer and they start trending in the right direction, all of a sudden you'll see the Jags be a prime free agent market spot. Just like you said with the Bengals.
You made my point.
Yeah.
If Detroit doesn't have anybody like that, they're not going to get anybody to come there. The Browns didn't get anybody to come there free agency until they got Baker. Now, that all changed the last 3 or 4 years when he came. I mean, OBJ wasn't coming there before that. Landry wasn't coming there before that.
Landry was a legit signing. OBJ was a trade, but the Landry that was a big deal because he was one of the first bigger names to not just go there, but to sign a long-term ink.
Exactly. But now I wouldn't mind seeing a lottery draft like the NBA and give the team that finishes 8-8 more of a percentage chance to get the first draft choice than the team that finishes 0-16. Weight it the other way. Give it a little bit of weighting toward the Kenner way.
That's right,
and
baby.
Then
Kenner way. I like how that sounds, Jay. I like that. The Kenner way. I like it.
Hold on just a second.
Okay. Get it all out of your system, my friend. It's all good.
That's why I couldn't breathe earlier. I had to say, Carter, you were right. But, you can rate it that way. That I agree with. But just going full the other way, you can bury a franchise forever and a day.
Hey, survival of the fittest, baby. Darwinism. I'm all about it. And that's coming from a 5'5" fat guy. So I wouldn't, I'm not the most survival tactic person. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, and you need some help with your golf swing, too. I've seen that.
Who are you? I don't even know who you are. I've never put my golf. For one, I'm not the kind to put a video of me golfing. So I really need to figure out who you are. So there you go. All right, man. Hey, I appreciate the call. And I hope that breathing problem gets better for you.
I'll get there. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Adios, Jay. 45794 the Kenner way. I like that. TM. Trademark that. You hear that? Let me get the company on that. Maybe not. All right. It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kevin Nash.
All intellectual property made at 717 East David Road, Lost Alpha Media.
Not all of it. Well, I'm going to get, I'm going to get my Indeed.
Better read that handbook, man.
Michael Green says salary cap makes it tough to sign enough free agents to improve bad teams. Look, but Michael, what you're saying is that, it makes it tough to sign enough free agents to improve bad teams. We're not asking you to improve to go from a 2-win team to a Super Bowl team. But if you can't get enough good players to improve from 2 wins to 6 wins one year, and then, from a 5-win team to get enough free agents to improve to an 8-win team the next, we're not at, in all seriousness, in my system that I just suggested, okay, the Kinner way, right? In my system that I just suggested, we're not asking every team in the NFL to build to be Super Bowl teams. We're just asking you to look like football teams. The Jags don't look like a football team. The Bengals have been embarrassing for a long time. The Browns they embarrassed the NFL for how long? They won 1 game in 2 years. Ron just said it. He goes, you're complaining about this. What about your clowns? You got Hayfield. Yes, exactly. The Browns went 0-16. Any team that is that bad should not be rewarded with the time draft pick. But anyways, it is what it is. All right. So Jay just had to he had to agree with me and he was nauseous about it. I'm about to say some more nice things about the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you can kill the music real quick, because we got an interview with Sully coming up at 5:30. So I'm just throwing that out there. But Ben Roethlisberger apparently is saying that he does not care about his pay at all this year and is willing to restructure a contract that has a $41 million cap hit for the 2021 season, Kev. And, of course, you sent this to me. I'm telling you as if you just found this out for the first time.
Don't worry about it.
Yep. So this is breaking news to Kevin, apparently. But, let me reset it here. He's willing to restructure a contract that has a $41 million cap hit for 21. That includes $19 million in bonuses and salary that can be restructured. We talk so much about athletes who, if they don't get it their way, they want out. And I think that's frustrating from a fan's perspective at times. And I think it makes sports look bad at times, even though it's hard for us to feel bad and sympathy for athletes who are making millions and millions of dollars while we sit here and we have to sit there and pray for an extra stimulus check just to get by, right? Like, it's tough for me in this day and age, I'm not sitting there saying like I'm, bad offer. I'm just saying it's tough for me and for a lot of us common folk to sympathize with these millionaire athletes who are complaining about, I don't want 39 million. I don't want 35 million. I want 39 million. It's hard to sympathize with that. It really, really is. So when you come across a story like this, even a quarterback that I dislike on a team that I dislike, I have to, I respect Big Ben's approach here. I love when athletes have that I just want to win approach. I respect the hell out of that. It's hard for me, even though we as humans would instinctually chase the money too, it is hard for me to feel bad for Deshaun Watson. I don't feel bad for Deshaun Watson. You just got the second highest contract in history at the quarterback position in the NFL, and you're trying to convince people that you're the victim in an organization that just doesn't do anything for you. They paid you. How do you think, you want to cry and complain? How's Dak Prescott feel for his organization right now? Who won't pay him? Who won't give him a dime, right? So it's tough for me to sympathize with these athletes, but the ones I do really care about are the athletes who take the winning side serious. Look at all the money that LeBron has given up over the years, knowing that, hey, if I can go take every dime that I'm worth, which still probably isn't enough, okay? That's how valuable he is. He took less money to win, and we called him, a bum, said he cheated to get to a title. Oh, he had to go pair up with these guys. You realize the only way he could pair up with Bosch and Wade is by taking less money? Because in the world of sports, contracts wise, if all three of those guys who were worth max contracts, you can't have 3 guys at max contracts on the team. They all had to take less. They all took less money to win a championship. We tell people all the time, we just want our athletes to want to win. And when they want to win and they go pursue winning, we rip them because they do it that way. Tom Brady's been taking less money for years with the Bucks or with the Patriots. And, he doesn't get, all we too focus on is the flatten footballs, Kev. We don't focus on what he does to win football games. Big Ben, for the sake of winning, is willing to have his entire contract restructured so that the Steelers and him can have some success next season. As a Browns fan, that bums me out. But as a sports fan, it's refreshing to see an athlete look at this situation and say, yeah, winning means more to me than anything else right now.
Colbert, get it done. He's willing to restructure. So you have more money to play with, so there's no excuses not to give him more weapons and an offensive line. He gave him out. He gave the organization out. He made them look good, so they don't have to do any uncomfortable things like cut Ben Roethlisberger, your Hall of Fame quarterback. He gave you extra money to re-sign your great defensive end and T.J. Watt and your great safety and Minka Fitzpatrick. Get them signed. Get him an offensive line, and let's go win some football games.
That defense is good enough to where you don't really need to touch it, right? Like,
but I mean, yeah. I mean,
what I mean is like you're not going to fill every hole on both sides of the ball. No. I'm asking you as a Steelers fan, I feel like if he takes less money, I know you're going to want to touch some stuff up defensively, but the Browns are proof that they have a defense that's god awful, but their offense is why they had a chance to get to the AFC.
Oh yeah. But I mean, you can do all those things. Now that he's not going to be taking $40 million, like those. I mean, you didn't trade a first round pick for Minkah Fitzpatrick for him to leave you 2 years later. You know what I'm saying? So like that would be dumb to give up a first round pick and then basically watch it walk out the door, who basically saved the back end of your defense. So you got to give him the money. You obviously got to give TJ Watt his money. He's potentially going to be the defensive player of the year in the NFL. So those two guys have to get paid, but also you have to fix that offensive line. That is priority number one. Fix the offensive line.
There's only so many offensive linemen in the league, and they all seem to be heading towards the AFC North. I tell you that much. By the way, Tooney makes a lot of sense in Pittsburgh.
I don't care who it is. It could be you. If you can block, come on to the black and yellow.
I can't. And as I say that, look, the Bengals are on line 3. We heard you could play offensive line. So that needs to be. And look, they have the number 24 pick in Mel Kiper's latest mock draft. He has them taking Zaven Collins from Tulsa, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, they just don't let Bud Dupree walk.
Yeah, they signed Bush or drafted Bush a few years ago, which, by the way, let's not act like his season-ending injury didn't have a huge impact on the way that defense, struggled at times for the remainder of the run. But Pittsburgh, they could fill those holes pretty damn quickly.
Oh yeah,
especially with Big Ben. And by the way, I don't care if you don't like Big Ben. I'm not a Big Ben guy either. But let's be clear: if the Steelers go on to win the division again next year, make a run in the playoffs, and give Big Ben a true shot to win a Super Bowl to close out his career, it's because of Big Ben. Because if it's not for Big Ben redoing this contract, they didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of making that work. So shout out to him.
True.
As far as that goes.
True. Get it done. Front office, get it done. He gave you out. Get it done. Do y'all job. He was a team guy. Do your job now.
So that, speaking of non-team guys, Deshaun Watson, where will he end up? Where will he end up? That's the big picture there. I mean, so you want them to take defense in the draft? If let's say they get, they have this money to work with now, what should they do in that draft? That's where I think you get a Najee Harris.
Defense. I want me
spend your money on defense.
I want to spend my money on the offensive line. I want to spend money on the offensive line. I ain't got time to wait. I ain't got time to be out here hoping that these dudes turn into the next Joe Thomas. I need a solid guard. I need a solid center, and I need a solid tackle. Draft me an outside linebacker to replace Bud Dupree, and draft me another cornerback, and let's rock.
Need to stop increasing salaries every new deal. Who needs $500 million? So that comes from Travis Hatmaker on the ESPN Dayton fan hotline. We haven't used that in a while.
I'd take $500,000. What about you?
I think we all would, but let's just be clear. But there is a responsibility of knowing, hey, if I take this money, it is going to limit what my team can do for me around me. So I will play a role. Like, to sit there and say it's the team's fault for not having the resources to go get it done. You knowingly take that money, knowing that your team will have less resources to get it done. That's on you too. So I blame the players in that situation. They're not dumb. We're told all the time, players aren't dumb. They have a mind of their own. Blah, blah, blah. They know what they're getting themselves into. They knew what they were in every situation. They know what they're getting themselves into. Just saying.
Pay up. Y'all making billions. Give me my millions.
We'll be back in a moment. Let's talk a little Dayton Flyers basketball. Sully from Talking Out Loud, which comes up immediately following our show tonight. He joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio. WING 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio.
O'Reilly. Count on the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts to recommend the best products for your car. Get maximum cooling system performance for 10 years or 300,000 miles with Peak Long Life Universal Pre-Mixed Antifreeze and Coolant. On sale now for just $5.99 after mail-in rebate. Plus, earn double O-Rewards points. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents. And Doug.
Breathe out and repeat after me. Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Your bird is eating my candles.
Your bird is eating my candles.
No, seriously, he's making a mess.
No, seriously.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Get a customized quote at libertymutual.com.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Tie ball game with the shot clock winding down now. Jones takes the ball to point off the high screen and roll. He puts up the shot at the buzzer, and it's
Timothy's Bar and Grill on Brown Street. Dayton Flyers basketball fans can't make it to the arena this season, but want to experience a safe electric college game day atmosphere? Timothy's Bar and Grill is the spot to support the Flyers all season long. Follow Timothy's Bar and Grill on Facebook and Twitter for select game day specials. Go Flyers!
Need legal help? We can help. Hi, this is Mike Foley, your Montgomery County Clerk of Courts. Have you heard about our new help center? It's located at the Montgomery County Courthouse, providing legal information and forms. And we also share programs and resources that may be available to you. Let us help you navigate the court system. Visit us online at courthouse2u.com for more info.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with flurries, a high near 28. Tonight's going to be partly cloudy, a low around 16. And tomorrow will be mainly clear, a high near 31. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane. 98% of their customers recommend Cullet. If you wouldn't recommend your current supplier, check them out at culletpropane.com.
Have you wanted to speak a new language, but thought it would be too difficult? Then try Babbel. Babbel starts by teaching you words and phrases that gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations. So in 15 minutes a day, you'll be speaking a new language in a few weeks. Babbel is built around real life. It teaches you practical conversations that you will actually use. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com today. That's BABBEL.com.
Pros bring something extra to every job. Now at the Home Depot, they also get something extra. Pro Extra, our free loyalty program built for pros just like you. Members earn perks with every dollar spent, like Pro Extra Dollars, a tool rental credit, and more. New members get $20 off their next in-store purchase of $200 or more just for signing up. Learn more at homedepot.com/Pro Extra. New year, more rewards, Pro Extra, only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Winter is here. Rob's Beer Barn is stocked with the newest seasonal beers and refreshments. That means Rob's Beer Barn has you covered for all your needs, including for the big game on Sunday, February 7th. At Rob's, you can find all the ice cold refreshments you'll need. Craft, imported, local, and seasonal beers, fine wine, snacks, and ice. Rob's has it all. And for last minute items, you can call, walk in, or drive through. Stop in and stock up today. Rob's Beer Barn on Indian Ripple Road at Darst, just a mile east of the green. Rob's Beer Barn, just look for the beaver.
And Dewey Sausage Conies are back at Skyline Chili. They may look like regular conies, but savory spices in the sausage give them a bold Cajun accent. Come into your neighborhood Skyline today and kick it up a notch with Andouille Sausage Conies, made locally by Queen City Sausage. But you better hurry. Andouille Sausage Conies are only at participating Skyline locations for a limited time. Feeling good. It's Skyline time.
The
big building supply and home improvement auction is back at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield. It's all online now, and bidding starts ending Thursday at noon. Go to pbauctions.com and register to bid on name brand home improvement products. Kitchen cabinets, vanities, wood flooring, vinyl, tile flooring, doors, windows, trim, insulation, lumber, fencing, and tools. A huge selection of unclaimed freight. Preview is Wednesday, and bidding starts to close Thursday at noon. So go to pbauctions.com and check out this huge building material and home improvement auction at the Clark County Fairgrounds in Springfield.
Are you ready for tax season? Belmont Business Consultants and Tax Services is ready for you. If you want to come in person, it's a safe environment, or you can just drop off. Belmont Tax also provides a completely virtual, secure client portal. For business or personal, if you want the accurate deductions you deserve, contact Belmont Tax in Dayton and Eaton. Go to BelmontBCTXS.com. BelmontBCTXS.com.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Lyric's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Lyric's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Lyric's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Lyric's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Lyric's, continuing the tradition.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Panera's new flatbread pizzas are here. But to our new chef, Klaus, they're not just pizzas, they're masterpieces. Because it's not just cheese, it's hot and melty mozzarella and fontina cheese. It's not just sauce, it's market tomato red bell pepper sauce. And it's not just toppings, it's fresh mozzarella, basil, and grape tomatoes. Taste our delicious new flatbread pizzas today. Order online for pickup or delivery. Panera. Restrictions apply.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investinggoals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Staples has everything you need to start the year right, like home office furniture, the latest tech, and organizational supplies, and all at amazing prices. Get a fresh start this year with big savings from Staples.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
The Dayton Flyers have Rhode Island coming up this Saturday. It'll be a 4 p.m. tip-off. And again, the Flyers coming off of a huge win over top 25 St. Louis just the other night. And again, just still trying to figure this team. I mean, you lose to Fordham, you lose to LaSalle, but then you beat, Ole Miss, you beat Mississippi State. You have a top 25 win over St. Louis. Then you have VCU, 13 points up in the first 10. You can't figure this team out, but regardless, we do know that the roster will be in action coming up on Saturday as they welcome in finally another home game for the Flyers as they welcome in a really good Rhode Island team. And joining us now to break all of that down, we have Sully from Talking Out Loud. Sully, welcome in. Have you figured this team out yet? I know we're all trying to figure it out. Have you figured this team out yet?
No, I think the season is going to come and go before I understand this team. To be honest with you, man, I'm not done trying, but I just don't see like how I'm going to have the blueprint on this team, or rather, like they're not going to ever be predictable on who they can beat and who they can't, right?
Yeah, and look, I don't really want to spend this time beating up on them. That was a huge win the other night, and if they could just bottle that and build off of it, that's the only thing you can ask for at this time, because regardless of the opinions of this team, it's going to come down to winning a few games in the tournament to get to the tournament. So as long as they're building off what they just were able to do the other night, that's the best way to look at this moving forward. But obviously it's going to come down on the shoulders of Jalen Crutcher.
Yeah, and you guys saw that. I mean, I came on the show last week. I think I've been saying this, or maybe I missed a week, but the last 2 weeks, I sat on the show, podcast, pregame show, whatever, and we've said the sauce is getting pretty simple on how Dayton can win. Now, with what we said earlier, you don't know what kind of Dayton team you're going to get from night to night, but the sauce is there. They have to limit their turnovers. They have to have Jalen Crutcher scoring the most points, and Ibi Watson has to be his Robin. And if you want me to drill even further, I mean, the performances of the Flyers are really night and day when you separate one thing. If Ibi Watson and Jalen Crutcher can get up 25 shots and score 35 points between the two of them, and then they limit their turnovers, the Flyers are probably going to win. And we haven't lost the game yet when we have followed that exact formula. So, yeah, I mean, I was so frustrated after the St. Louis win, and I say that, I was frustrated after the St. Louis win because you watch that game and you watch Crutcher go off, and I'm thinking to myself, this is the team that they should have been all along. It's no secret that Jalen Crutcher put up 27. No one in Dayton watched that game with, oh my God, he did what? I mean, we all expected that. That's how good he is. We don't know that's how good he is. So, you hate to do it, man, but this season is going to come down to, us having these conversations about how great a win we just saw, and then we'll have to go, boy, it'd be great if they didn't lose to LaSalle and Fordham. It's we're always going to end up going back to that because they're just such inexcusable losses, and frankly, they ruined the season, point blank, they really did.
I know this may sound like a weird question, but you thought this team was going to be good because, by the way, they're 9-4. They're not bad, but they're not who you expected. But the team you thought they were going to be that way because what? And what are they not doing to get to what you expected them to be this year?
Well, I mean, if you're backing all the way up, I expect them to be a tournament team just given the roster that I saw going into the year. And then when they lost Wayne Cohill, I said, all right, maybe they're going to be a little bit thinner on the bench. And they were. But then, if you remember, we sat here right around Christmas time. They were 4-1. They beat Mississippi State and Ole Miss. And for the record, those are middle of the pack to bottom feeder SEC teams. So those wins have been okay. I mean, they're still top 100 wins, but they're not great teams by any stretch of the imagination. So at that time around Christmas, we sat here and I said, I still think this is a tournament team. They can very much play their way in. I thought 14-4, maybe even 15-3 was going to be possible, but they were predicated on a couple of different things. Number one was the thing we already talked about, was that Crutcher has to be the guy night in, night out. What happened against VCU? They double-teamed him. They put all kinds of pressure on him. They just shut him down, right? And that's the key to beating Dayton. That's number one. And number two, we talked about this a million times, it's the turnovers. We said for Dayton to be running through the A-10, stacking up wins, they have to limit the turnovers. And they haven't done that. I mean, the St. Louis game was one of them. And then I believe the George Washington game was the first game the entire season where they won the turnover battle. So we're talking about getting to the end of January, and they still have these horrible turnover problems. But the other thing that I'll say to kind of round it out and make it 3 points for you is that the numbers point to this team being at their best when they play small. When they play with guys that have speed, they can space the floor, and then Jordy's going to come off the bench and give you 15 to 20. You've already seen that Jordy's given us productive minutes. He's going to bang around down low. He's going to probably pull in, 6 to 10 rebounds a night because he's just taking up a lot of space. But the Flyers are most productive. Again, look at the numbers when they have smaller lineups, Moose Ansel and Zimmy are both in there with maybe like Weaver, Watson, pressure. That's, that aspect. And then, teams just got to play a lot faster. For a team that makes so many mistakes, for a team that's so good at shooting the ball, they're still one of the slowest teams in tempo, meaning how many possessions they get per game. They have to speed it up. I mean, you saw it when we started the St. Louis game. They came out flying. They shot 4 threes in their first 4 possessions. They all went in. They were 12-4 before anybody could even sneeze. I mean, it's just becoming so obvious that this team has to play faster and they have to take more open shots because they're going to turn the ball over. So what do you do to counteract that? You give yourself more possessions so that those mistakes don't hurt you so bad.
Rhode Island coming up next. You look at Rhode Island again, not a good team, not a bad team, just middle of the pack right now. But again, with not knowing which UD team shows up on a given week, it's really not so much about the quality of the opponent. It's more about the quality of the UD team that shows up. But with that being said, you've had different, writers on, different, podcaster guys on from Rhode Island. What should we expect with this matchup coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, I was laughing. So I just recorded the newest podcast this morning. We talked to the play-by-play guy for URI. His name's Stone Freeman, younger fan. He's probably 23, 24 years old, just graduated. And he's a lifelong fan. It gives me really good perspective. So that's who I'm talking to today on the show coming up here after yours. But I had to laugh, Kenner, because I said, what do we expect from the Rhode Island Rams? That was my question to him. And he said, well, they turn the ball over a lot. They're going to live and die by the 3. He goes, Spax Russell has to be our best scorer on any given night.
That sounds familiar.
And then he said, and I kind of waited, right? And he goes, and then, they could probably beat any team in the A-10, but they could probably lose any team too. And I was like, I said, you literally just described our exact team. So it's going to be a little bit of the Spider-Man meme, pointing at each other, kind of looking identical. These do look like 2 very identical teams. They're 2 teams that are probably headed towards the NIT unless they spark magic in the A-10 tournament. They're both hovering around, 65 to 80 in all of the rankings. UD maybe a little bit higher than URI because they don't have any good wins to their name. But that's it, man. I mean, they're for people that don't know Rhode Island, they lost 7 guys last year off of their roster to either graduation or transfers. One of them being Jacob Toppin, younger brother of Obi. He went to Kentucky. But, I wasn't really dumping on Rhode Island at the beginning of the season when I said they're an NIT team. They just had a lot of holes to plug up. And when you lose 7 guys off a roster, thank God for the transfer market, they might not even have been able to field a team. So, the short scouting report for Rhode Island is they're kind of a lot similar to Dayton, right, in their makeup. They got there a little bit differently because they have a lot of transfers and young guys, so there is a lot of experience. But, it's kind of going to be a Jalen Crutcher versus Spax Russell show. Their star point guard, and Jalen Crutcher, frankly, has been a better player in their careers, and they're both 4-year guys. So, I'm not going to sit here and, with all confidence, Dayton's going to win on Saturday because we very much saw that this game could go the other way on us. But as far as the scouting report, Dayton's a pretty decent offensive team that probably should speed it up. Rhode Island's a pretty good defensive team that should probably slow it down. So, I think that if I could simplify it, I don't know which game plan is going to play out, but I'll guarantee you this. And I hate being wrong, this. Whatever team wins the turnover battle, that's the team that's going to win the game.
The A-10 Men's Basketball Championships, of course, March 10th to the 14th. What are you hearing? Did something come out today about a split tournament? I mean, what the heck's going on with the conference tournament coming up? Because, of course, we've talked about it. The reality is that tournament is going to become very important for the Flyers' hopes of getting to the NCAA tournament. What's the landscape of that looking like?
Yeah, so they just announced this last night. And the news broke, I think, about 6 or 7 o'clock. I was having dinner here Central Time. So, maybe 7 o'clock last night. They're going to have the A-10 tournament from Wednesday to Sunday again. It's going to be in Richmond. And they're going to split it between the Siegel Center, which is in downtown Richmond, and then the Robbins Center on the campus of the University of Richmond. That's about 6 or 7 miles away out of town. So, I think it's going to be a great event, honestly. I hope that they can get fans in down there. It seems like they're going to try. I don't know if they're going to end up doing it. But they're going to have the opening round at Richmond. When I say Richmond, I mean University of Richmond. On Wednesday. They're going to split Thursday and Friday between the two sites. And then Saturday, Sunday, the final and the semifinals, those will all be at the Robbins Center at the campus of UR. So that's the plan. They're moving forward with it. And really, people ask me, well, is the A-10 tournament going to get canceled? And my response is absolutely not. There's too much money on the line. There's too much at stake. Their TV partners, they need that revenue, frankly. They just have to have that revenue. And, they're going to get it one way or another, and that's the reason why the NCAA tournament's being played. It's going to be played this year, is that the NCAA quite literally cannot afford for it not to be played again. So, rest assured, if you've been in doomsday scenarios, don't worry about it. The conference tournaments are going to happen one way or another. But again, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm planning on making the trip down to Richmond as long as they'll let me indoors, and I'll probably have to quarantine at a hotel somewhere in Richmond. But I'm up for it, man. If it means covering the Flyers, then I'm down. I'm in.
Jeff Goodman had Dan Gavitt on their podcast the other day. I was listening to that. And of course, they're talking about the importance. Yes, to your point, yeah, there's going to be the NCAA tournament this year. They're definitely going to get that in. But the concern is like, it sounds like, and I don't even think there is a plan of how to combat this. I don't know what the right plan is, but like, okay, if a team tests positive during this, they're petrified as far as what's going to happen with that. Like, I have no clue how that's going to play out, not just in these conference tournaments coming up, but man, it didn't make me feel too good about the fact that they really don't have a plan A or B for how they're going to combat that. Their plan is, we're going to have an NCAA tournament. It's going to be in Indy. We're going to rotate it between these locations. But if a team tests positive, I mean, the only thing he said towards the end that had me concerned is, well, this isn't the kind of tournament that you have time to let teams quarantine for. So that almost sounds like, hey, you test positive, you're out.
Yeah, and I think their intention is to take it on a case-by-case basis where, like, let's say you get one player on the team that tests positive and nobody else does. It sounds like they're going to move forward in that case, right? They're going to isolate the positive test and then they'll play the game. Wherever you stand on that, I don't know, have your opinion on that one way or another. But rest assured, there's going to be a lot of overcorrection on this NCAA tournament. There's going to be a lot of policies in place that might not necessarily work, but they'll seem like they're working for the general public, and that's just as important as them working, right now, unfortunately. And I was reading some of the protocols today, and again, when I say overcorrection, like, I truly do mean that. There was something today where it said that teams within the 350-mile radius are going to be required to take multiple buses so that they can all stay 6 feet away from each other. That's like me and you going to somebody's house for a dinner party and feeling safe because we took 2 separate Ubers. It's just like that kind of stuff where it seems like, oh, yeah, we're doing a great job. But in reality, it's like, are we really doing a good job, or are we just kind of, feeding the public this stuff so that they'll feel better like we are doing a good job? So, all that to say, man, we're going to see the NCAA tournament one way or another, and there's probably going to be a lot of measures that are head scratchers until we get there, right?
Yeah, and there is, I saw Andy Katz tweet this out the other day too, that UConn, that they announcthat their next 2 games against Villanova and St. John's, they've been canceled, not because a player or someone on their team tested positive, not because someone, an opponent of theirs. It was a game official. A game official tested positive in a game that they played in. And I'm like, there are way too many moving parts. I mean, let's be clear. If football can get this in, they have to get it in. There's just more games, more moving parts. But it's just going to be crazy to have stupid stuff like that be why teams don't get games in. That's my biggest concern heading in. But you know what? I feel good that they are moving full force ahead, trying to get this damn tournament in. That's all that matters at this point. So
it's always got to be a combination of like rationality, like what CDC or protocols are saying, like what state officials are saying. Like, it's always going to come down to that, but you got to play both sides. I mean, we've been trying to get college basketball, and I'll give you a great example. You remember about a month ago, Boston University was on like a long pause, and then they decided they were going to finally play basketball. And the way that their college administrators decided that it was going to be safe again was for their athletes to wear the masks on the floor while they were playing. And it was just it was an absolute farce. I mean, it really was. It was a farce. And everybody was just like, okay, we're reduced to this stupidity. It got kind of sad. And, thankfully they walked it back. They didn't, keep going down that road of just stupidity. But unfortunately, like, that's what you're going to see in the NCAA tournament is we're just going to take a lot of measures that don't necessarily make sense, but they'll probably make people feel a little bit better. And I guess that's a balance.
That's what I always say. It's not about being safe. It's about appearing to be safe. It's like when I go through a damn drive-through here in town, and they, I hand them my cart. They put my food in the basket and then hand me the basket to grab my food out of. I'm like, come on, stop. Like, you're trying to convince me you're doing things to be safe, but that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. But anyways, we all got to deal with our bosses tell us. So there you go. Yeah. All right.
Exactly right.
Hey, so Sully's going to be live out at Timothy's Bar and Grill this Saturday, hosting the Talking Out Loud Dayton Flyers pregame show. Again, the Dayton Flyers, Rhode Island, going to be going head-to-head at the arena Saturday at 4 o'clock from 2 to 4. Sully will be live at Timothy's Bar and Grill again for the Talking Out Loud pregame show. Again, those have been a lot of fun. You're going to be back out at Timmy's coming up on Saturday. What did you do this past weekend? You provided a lot of beer. You provided a lot of beer for some of the fellow Daytonians.
Yeah, it was a good time, man. We had alumni funded. I just asked some alumni to send me money. I got way too much money, and so I had to figure out how to spend that money.
We're talking like $1,000. You got a lot of money of beer. That's a lot of beer.
It was well over $1,000. I promise you, it was well over $1,000. So yeah, I went to Sunoco on Brown Street there, and I bought a lot of cases of beer. We went around to I think 57 houses that we went around to. And for people listening on the radio, I did not go into a single house except for one. When we were done with the route, I really had to pee really badly. So I put on my mask. And I said, hey guys, I gotta run in. I got to, But most of the time it was just us kind of saying hey, dropping it on the porch and rolling off. And it was great, man. So we used the extra money to pay for first round of drinks for everybody at Tim's on Saturday. But it was a lot of fun. We had to change it up a little bit about, we didn't come in contact with people, stayed outside, didn't visit with anyone just because of the way everything's going right now. Just want to make sure I did it all outdoors basically. But it was a lot of fun, man. And I'm glad that, it's been received really well by the alumni, people on social media, and of course, the students love it. They get free beer out of it. So who can complain, man? That's what I'm saying.
Well, as you know, there's always people to complain. But no, we're not. We're not. All right, man. Hey, you have a great night. Talking Out Loud with Sully coming up next. He's going to be live at Timothy's Bar and Grill this Saturday at 2 o'clock is when the show starts, the Talking Out Loud pregame show, getting you set for the Dayton Flyers and Rhode Island at the arena at 4 o'clock. Sully, good stuff. Good talking to you. We'll talk this weekend.
Oh, yeah, guys. See you later. Take it easy.
Yeah, it was. Did you see? I got to show you the pictures, Kev. I mean, it was just multiple cars filled with beer. I mean, it was
a great guy, man.
I mean, he gives unto the people. That's all you can
man of the people.
I mean, I don't have the picture. So on tomorrow's show, I'll have the picture for those watching on the video stream. We'll get that popped up there for people to see just how good of a person Sully is, man. He's all about giving back to the people. So there you go. All right, another fun show. And next week, man, how about this? We got quite the guest list next week. We got a regular visit with Jason Fitz. We got Ian Fitzsimmons from, Fitzsimmons and, Freddie Coleman. They do that show together. So Freddie Coleman's going to join us next week. So we got Freddie Coleman. We got Jay Williams. All right, excited about that. We'll talk some college basketball, college hoops with Jay Williams next week.
Nice.
Jason Fitz, Ian Fitzsimmons, Bobby Carpenter,
Buckeye,
and Will Allen.
Another Buckeye.
So, again, I'm pumped. Pumped for tomorrow's show, too, the next week's shows. But, we don't do a lot of guests. But for whatever reason, there's always those weeks where, everyone just wants to come on the Justin Kinner Show. That's all that matters.
Yeah, there's Super Bowl predictions. We got matter of fact, I'm going to get a board and all the guests that we have on this week. We're going to keep track of their Super Bowl predictions and make fun of them on Monday when they're wrong.
We need to start doing the guest picker for football season. This football season just fell.
We got one game.
We got one game left. Yeah, for next football season.
So we got 2 games left. We got the Senior Bowl. Whoever's watching that.
Yeah, we got one game left. Unless you want to support Mac Jones. Trey Sermon should play, so there's that.
Oh, he's going to play in the Senior Bowl?
I don't know if he's going to play or not. Some of those guys, I don't even know why. I mean, I would treat that like the Pro Bowl. Why would you play? Unless you, if you're Mac Jones, you got to play because you got to, it's helped some guys.
Yeah. But I always thought it was always about the practice. All the scouts are there, but obviously they're watching virtually this year. So I thought it was always about the practice. I never thought it was really about the game, but we'll see. I mean, it's something to watch on Saturday.
All right. More Dayton Flyers basketball talk coming up as we wrap this up. Talking Out Loud with Sully every Thursday night, an entire hour dedicated to Dayton Flyers men's basketball talk. That's coming up next. Talking Out Loud, hosted by Sully. And, of course, getting you set for the Rhode Island game coming up on Saturday. Don't go anywhere. More local content coming your way. Talking Out Loud next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on